It's Saturday
Hey.
morning.
Oh,
You know what that means. The Comics Pals are live for another edition of our main show. We are Marco-less, but Tyler's here.
hi, I'm Marco today. Yeah.
um,
Mm.
I don't know about that
What
one.
would Marco say? Shit. Does he have a catchphrase? I don't pay attention, Marco.
What's
He
up?
says, "Yo, let's go."
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yo, let's go. That did it, right?
Wow.
It's
That
like
was
it's. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Oh.
Trust me,
And
Kale.
Kale's
There are
here
things.
on the
Yeah,
verge.
what's up, hot dog?
On the verge of saying
Well.
something highly offensive, most likely.
It-
Give it some time. Like,
thank you,
you
Kefis.
don't need
Thank
to
you,
get
Kefis.
right into racism. You can,
Right.
you can wait like 5 minutes.
to be fair, it wasn't even gonna be like crazy. But then, but then I went. Hold on a second.
Let me think this through. Well, you know what? That's growth, Kill, because I think in years prior, you would have just said it and regretted
and
it
to be
later. You
fair-
would have turned red. The Kale
To be
special.
fair, Marco knows all about growth, so or things growing. So
I
nope, yep. Trust me, there are things we can say, but we love
Cake
them.
did get a haircut. Thank you for asking.
yes.
Okay, Kale, can I ask you a question? How often do people mistype your name as Cake?
Does every phone have autocorrect?
Not the LG Motorola chocolate.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's say hello to some people, some party people in the chat. We got Kefis. We got Catherine Stars. Say happy birthday to Catherine today. Or
Oh.
yesterday was Catherine's birthday.
Catherine, happy birthday. Wow.
Hold on, I got a
Wow.
call. This is Shanana has called us. They are having a cease and desist.
Unreal. The medic. Hey, what's up, the medic? Welcome, Sylv. What's up,
I see you,
Sylv?
Catherine.
Oh man, we've got a show for you guys. We got a lot to talk about. This is episode 299 of the show, which means that next week.
We've been doing this too long, is what it means.
Well, listen, we're gonna shake things up. Last year we got rid of our peas. This year
Had to bring in some cues.
we're gonna be talking about
I'm a Q. If this was a Star Trek
QAnon.
podcast, that would. Oh, whoa, wait. Hey. I was going somewhere different with that one. But since we're on the topic, pizza
What?
parlors, guys. Let's talk about Pizzagate.
Pro or against?
Masking our children. No, okay, let's.
all right. I don't want people to think that we're
We already got the
insane.
NFT crowd here. Let's.
Right.
We just need the clicks.
That's true. We're going to be talking about alleged Fantastic Four casting leaks, so that should be fun. There's a new Namor comic coming. I wonder why. Scott Steiner, Scott Snyder, dude. I have said
I'm
Zack
tempted.
Snyder.
I'm tempted, Sean.
Tempted to what?
Just go off into the Steiner math promo.
If you don't have the audio of it, you can't do it.
Oh, I was gonna try and do it from memory, but I can't. So it ain't happening.
And we are going to be talking a little NFT. Chris Jericho, speaking of wrestlers, putting out an NFT.
Dun.
And then we're gonna, in the main topic, we're gonna talk about the comics that defined the 2010s. The 2010s, big deal in comics. Lots of interesting things happened in those years, so we're gonna dissect them. Welcome, Harris.
He's not all. You see, not all podcasts are created equal.
That's right. That's damn right.
Harris, if you want to go into the full Steiner math promo and just edit it to be about podcasts, feel free. I'll read that in the chat as we're not out loud, but
that would be really fun for next week.
What is it?
Oh,
actually, Harris, if you want to record yourself doing the Steiner math promo, I will put it on the show.
That's a good idea.
I will put that on the show. Yeah.
Promo is this wrestler Scott Steiner, who is known for cutting nonsense promos. is
he's a genetic freak.
describing how much of a chance in percentage he and his opponents have of winning a match at Sacrifice,
Which is
pay-per-view.
a three-way match. So
A three-way match.
That sounds tremendous.
It is one of the best things that you'll ever see in your life, and I highly recommend that everyone who can hear my voice right now stop what they're doing, including you, Kale, and go watch that.
even Catherine's like, I don't watch wrestling, but I know what that is, and I love it. It's fantastic.
It is
Fucking Petey Williams as mini Scott Snyder behind him too.
Would we get DMC'd if we
if we played that?
Yeah.
I'd be willing to do it after the show.
Yeah,
Like,
after
if
the show.
hang
We can do it
around
after the show.
for a
Yeah,
little
I'll
bit.
get it ready for after the show. Yeah, I'll get it ready.
Yeah. But I want to talk about a new show. It just came out. I was watching it. Miss Marvel. Did you guys catch it?
I've heard of this. I've heard of this show. I heard this is a television show.
Yeah,
but also it is on the Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yeah, I watched it. The first
No,
episode.
yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You only
I
watched
mean,
the first episode?
That's all that's out. It's brand new.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yes, and I only watched the first episode as well.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we should talk about that. Kel, have you watched the first episode?
I have not seen the first episode, so no spoilers.
Oh shit!
No
Keep
spoilers.
it out of the
besides the ones
spoiler club here.
All right.
The ones I sent into your DMs the other day, but
Hey, you stay out of my DMs. You're not
hey,
Marco.
well, I know you're home alone this week, so
Well, I'll stay out of your DMs. I'll just pull up to your house.
on the wrong side of the street too.
This week on Palace Pools, we were talking about ships, like shipping each other, which.
Oh, yeah. We want fan fiction.
You want slash fic of us?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Somebody's gonna fucking put feet ones for me. I fucking know it. God damn it.
Catherine, get to work, queen.
Catherine does slash fic, right? Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm.
Did I? Yeah.
So we were talking about that. So tell us what comics pals pairings you guys.
I mean, there's only about like a
We said,
33.3% chance of us being matched together. So
We said you and I would probably be the crack ship.
what does that mean?
The one that you don't think of first. Like Marco and I are obvious. We're Betty and Veronica. We're Endgame.
Sure. Yeah, okay.
Sean and I are too different.
I think we're too similar.
Is that what it was?
Well, I think it's both.
I can see both, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
it would be a sitcom, like same
Yeah.
but different sort of thing.
But I think you and I are just a little too. You don't think of us in that way, I guess.
I'm also newer on the show, so I have less of a lore attached to me.
Yeah, there's not the chemistry's not there yet.
Yeah.
Kefis says multiple Kales like Sinister. That cracked me up.
Good one.
Catherine says Tyler X Kale, Marco X Sean. I see it. I do not see it. The medic says I'm
interesting.
gonna have to say Sean with his hand with a lot of tears over Cheetah.
Did something happen to Cheetah? Did I miss something?
Did something happen with Cheetah? Cheetah exists.
Oh, all right.
Something's
That's all it takes.
gonna happen with
That's all it
Cheetah.
takes.
I wanted to talk about Miss Marvel. Why are we talking about Cheetah?
Miss Marvel. Let's talk about the Nur. The Nur? Is that how you pronounce it?
No.
The Nur? I don't know how. In the show, the energy from the other.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are you talking? They haven't described it yet. So what are you talking?
My uncle works for Disney.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty sick, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell him I need to meet with
Feige.
I would love to meet with Feige.
Trust me, I'm telling him to get me a meet with Haley Steinfeld for a while now, and it ain't working. So
That's who you want to meet with?
I like Hawkeye. Big fan.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I needed to meet with Kat Dennings about a thing. Um, but Miss Marvel, my God. All right.
Yes.
So the first episode was phenomenal. I really, really loved it. It was really fun.
It is a really good show.
Yeah. Like Avengers Con is a place I need to be. And
Getting deja vu, actually.
it just, you know what? It's the first of the shows that I feel like, and frankly, like even a lot of the movies don't get this, where it nailed the spirit of the book.
Mm-hmm.
It really felt like an issue of the comic brought to life, and they did such a good job.
Did you see that it is the highest rated Marvel Cinematic Universe property out there in terms of critics ratings?
Of all time, or like of
Of all time.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what I saw in the first one, like, sure.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. I can't wait to watch more. Like, I can't wait till they drop more episodes because I'm gonna devour them every week.
Just like I'm devouring this bit.
I don't know. I heard a rumor about something that was gonna happen later on that I'm really upset that I heard. So now I have to catch up.
Oh, okay.
And
All
how
right.
could you not have heard it?
Tuh.
It was like it was. People are shouting it from the mountaintops.
Jesus Christ. We're not
I
gonna
even
talk
watched
about
the
it.
show.
Yeah, we won't. Don't worry about spoilers here, but
And don't
Yeah.
worry, you actually hear it as well. So just remember that once you get to once the last episode comes out, Sean.
oh, all right. I got it. I got it. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, just
I know what you mean.
open
Nice
your
spoiler.
ears. Open your
Nice
ears.
spoiler. Yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it, and when it's over, we'll talk about it. But before we get to all that, I do want to let you guys know how you can support the show. Of course, our links are always in the description of anything that we do. And on the screen, you can actually see all of our socials and all of our stuff. But I do want to shout out patreon.com/thecomicspals, where for as little as $3 a month, you can support the show. You get our newsletters. This month, we are going through something. It's very evident in the newsletters. My man Marco wrote a 36-page dissection of romance manga. Tyler's getting lifted off God bombs. Take that for what for what you will.
Yo, I drank that God bomb, and then afterwards because I'm a single guy living by himself now, I left the drink on my living room table. And I woke up in the morning, and I guess the lime had coalesced with the charcoal that was in the drink. It looked very gory, I will say.
Huh.
So.
Did you leave a God bomb in the bathroom?
No. I know how to handle my booze, Sean, because I drink a lot of it.
All right.
I already have ideas for the next one. I bought some new ingredients for it. So
Nice.
I bought rock candy. There will be rock candy in the next one.
Oh no. Harris says, I really like the Thor movie review. Thank you. Yes, our Thor Love and Thunder review is out. It is full spoilers, so you're going to want to make sure that you've seen it or that you don't care. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But speaking of Harris is one of the people among several in this chat who are members of our Patreon at the $10 tier. $10 or more gets you a shout out on the show and a superhero or supervillain nickname for the Palsverse. So thank you to Thunderstruck Rebecca Alejandro, the Night Stalker Harris Nijinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Julissa the Jaguar, and Random Rocio, the Courageous Kunaladas, Kefis the Incorruptible, the Great Destroyer, Hyper Viper 89, Momentum Mike Elliott, Starcross Catherine Stars, and Indestructible Indy Aaron. Where is Trapzord? That's Trapzord. Where is Trapzord? We need. I feel like if Trapzord's not
Trapzord's
here,
not
it's not a real episode of the Pals.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's odd. If you want to watch this show live, twitch.tv/thecomicspals every single Saturday morning at 10:15 Eastern, and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern for Pals Pools.
Weren't we missing Nihilus's power that I gave him last week?
Oh shit, that's right.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I gotta add that to the list. What was his name again?
It was the Hellspawn. The Hell spawned
Scribe.
scribe. Yes,
Hellspawn
that's what it was.
scribe, yeah.
Yeah.
Nihilus,
And you
the
know what?
Hellspawn
You know what's so
scribe.
messed up, Tyler?
Hmm.
Gave him a nickname. He didn't even know. Didn't hear the show.
He was too busy scribing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, they don't get podcasts in hell.
Oh, they do. It's all my favorite murder.
They get
But they don't talk about the
bucks.
murder. It's just the bits in between.
He didn't even hear it.
No.
Wait, what'd you say? I was too busy coming up with my own bit. I'll find it when I edit the show, I guess.
Yeah, leave that little Easter egg in there for him.
Fair enough.
I'll actually have to listen to the audio. Jeez.
And just a quick reminder, I'll say it again. Episode 300 is next week. And we would love for you guys to submit your, any like kind words you want to say, thoughts about the show. Not this week's show necessarily, but big picture thoughts about the show. You can submit video and we'll add it. You can submit audio and we'll add it. You can write in at thecomicspals@gmail.com or leave a comment on YouTube. If you want to submit a video or audio file, though, send it to our email. That's the easiest way. So again, thecomicspals@gmail.com.
And if you're worried about it, all you should do is just record a voice memo on your phone and you can email that straight to us. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have comments from the listeners to read today. So Tyler, why don't you take it away?
Why, yes, I will. All right, so let me scroll down here. Yep. All right, so on episode 298, does the MCU need the Avengers? Dan Trudeau. There we go. Hello. Yes, I'm older, 46 to be exact, in terms of the MCU and the Avengers. Did your back just give out there, Cal? Just thinking
Ancient.
about that? Yeah,
46. I remember those days.
Wow.
46 to be exact. In terms of the MCU and Avengers, I think the absence does have an effect because building towards an Avengers movie is the model the franchise was built on. Without that, it feels like they're throwing balls of mud at the wall to see what sticks. In theory, it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't need an ongoing meta story to create a good individual superhero movie, but Phase 4 seems to be proving how vital it is to this specific universe.
I think that's a good point. I think that the MCU is what it is. And I think there are a lot of people who want it to be something different. And it's not going to be. Like, it is a large story that's never ending, just like the comics. It's Marvel Comics in film form. And if you haven't accepted that, 14 years down the road, I mean, you gotta get with it. And in terms of how that affects the movies, we're conditioned that that's how it is. So Phase 4 not having that, I don't think that this group of movies. Look, I'm not saying that Thor: Love and Thunder would be a better movie if, like, Kang were in it, right? Like if an after credit scene had Kang, it's not. It doesn't go from I gave it a 4. It doesn't go from a 4 to a 7 just because of that, right? Like, the movie's got to be good first. But it does help when at least for me, and I would imagine this is probably true for a lot of people who watch these movies, when you know that what you're watching is its own thing, but it's also a piece of a larger thing that all connect. That was something that made the previous phases feel special, and it's not making, or the absence of that is making this phase, one of the things that's making this phase feel not special.
One of the other stats I've read about Phase 4 is that the runtime, because of all the TV shows, is longer than Phases 1, 2, 3 combined.
Yeah.
So
there was a graph that was put out.
Yeah.
I think in the Discord that was like Phase 4 is 49 and a half hours or something.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what? I'm certainly the biggest fan of the MCU on this show. And I think it's too much. I would like to see them not necessarily scale the movies back so much, but maybe the shows, I think, have a better reason for them to exist, and don't. I don't know. Like they feel like they're missing something.
Don't worry, they're gonna announce a scale back next week at Hall H. Yeah.
Look, we get it. We tried something, it didn't work. We're gonna take it back. We're gonna focus on quality over quantity. Don't worry.
You're doing a great did you hear that?
Yeah.
There's a train outside my house apparently. I was gonna say that was a great Kathleen Kennedy impression talking about Star Wars.
Someone over there's got
that actually happened.
Brain in their head.
Yeah.
Dan, you know what, Dan? If there was an award, we should do that at the end of the year. Best commenter, best fan commenter, or listener rather.
Front runner right there.
Yeah, Dan would be up there.
I like the really shitty comments though that sometimes you don't read, or the ones that like are so shitty you bring them on the show and you roast them. Those are my favorites. We haven't gotten one of those in a while though.
Yeah,
so.
we haven't gotten. Yeah, I wish if you don't like the show, write in. Let us know.
If you're a total chud, feel free to comment.
Yeah, if you have a problem with like Miss Marvel because she's brown, if you hated Thor: Love and Thunder because it had a woman Thor in it, like if those are the kinds of things that bother you, right? Write in.
Feel free. We'll platform those views.
I mean, only to shit on them. Like in that way, we're like the boys. We'll bring up your shit idea, your shit take, but only to roast it.
Yeah, we're city boys. City boys. Yeah. All right. Should I get to the next one, Sean?
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks, Dan. And by the way, 46, frankly, it's the new like 26, dude.
Yeah, dude. That's Silver Fox territory, like just an audible groan. I couldn't even tell which one of you that came from. I wasn't sure if that came from me or not. All right, Chillmonger.
It was related to myself. Sorry, not related.
All right. So Chillmonger commented, I assume on the same episode. Did you just say mutie? And I don't see jeans. Was he quoting me?
He's quoting you. Yes. That was the best joke, maybe that's ever been said on this show. And so
I don't see jeans.
Pretty good. Yeah.
You said mutie when we were talking about I don't know, we're talking about some shit. And
man, I said a slur on the show.
Yeah, and I said, did you just say mutie? And then you said, I don't see G.
Yeah.
Only gray.
Oh my god! Like, how vapid is that? We're just reading comments of funny shit that we said and then laughing about it again.
Kevis, I don't remember what the fuck I say on the show.
Listen, it's funny if it's funny. I don't know.
Yeah. My brain, I think I was describing myself to someone the other day. It might have been my therapist. As hating to have dead air in any aspect of life means my brain is constantly thinking of something funny to say, which makes me real annoying to myself. So yeah, that's what my brain is like. Let's get into it. Instead, let's talk about Matt Murphy on the Thor: Love and Thunder review. He said, love to see Sean turning into me. Ooh, that's a bad thing.
Yes.
Speaking of therapy.
Oh shit. Well, I need it. Yeah, you know what? As it relates to phase 4 of the MCU, I don't know. Maybe Matt's onto something. A little bit of something. A pinch of something.
Yeah, knowing Murphy, he's, dumping the gallons of Marvel hate onto the world.
As I saw Thor next to him, he was literally groaning during the movie. Like that groan Sean just gave. Yeah. Happening every 10 minutes next to me. I thought he was maybe enjoying it too much. I'm like, yeah, I know Natalie Portman's on screen, but dude, relax.
Come on.
Eric, why would you join the stream just to say Gen Con? What the?
He's asking if you're going. Sean, is there going to be a Comics Pals appearance at Gen Con this year?
I'm trying to go to Gen Con,
Con? What's Gen Con?
It's a convention of all the genders.
Wow.
Yep.
That would be Gender Con. And that would probably be
too many syllables. Too many syllables.
Catherine says, Pals Awards, then y'all can dress up. I'd love that. I'll dress up too. I'm going to dress up as a black dude who's comfortable in his own home.
Me too.
You want to know what's funny?
I look like Ted Danson at the the Emmys.
He dressed up as a black dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was blackface.
This
This
was
is when
like-
he was
this
dating
was
Whoopi Goldberg, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was late 80s.
Yeah. It was like far enough along where like blackface like was known to be not okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was
Wait,
never
yeah.
okay, but
He was doing blackface.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
dude.
time.
Ted Danson,
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. I thought he was all right.
It's like
I mean-
it was the 80s. Everybody was crazy doing coke.
yeah. Oh, there was like I just did coke blackface too. It was like yeah.
This show is insane. Like
It was like Tyrone Bigham's blackface,
oh, I don't get that.
which you can do without doing
Hell
blackface.
so.
I've done it. I've done the costume.
all right. Well, you know.
Oh
if you're
wait,
gonna
Harris is right. He did it to propose to Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
Love
Can't
it.
imagine why that didn't work out.
Love it.
Someone should just call the police on him. Next comment, please.
Okay.
just please.
Yeah.
All right. So GM it's just GM. GM on episode 255, the Marvel versus DC, the War for Webtoons. Nice to see someone watch that episode. This. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of the other Webtoons one.
Yeah, it's not. The one you're thinking.
This was entertaining to watch, and I definitely enjoyed hearing you guys challenge each other's arguments on the topic. It'd be interesting to know what you guys thought about the Marvel releasing the Eternals comic on Webtoon earlier this year. They did that.
I can tell you exactly what I thought about it. Oh,
Will come again?
So, first of all, thank you for the compliment, GM. That episode is actually from a prior era of this show.
The P era.
It was the P era. And
not
in
the
that
PG
era,
era.
we argued a lot. So,
so much less laughter then.
then now, yeah,
No, I would
maybe.
say it was as a listener there was laughter. It was just a little louder.
Oh, you could hear a laughter. Yeah. So, what do I think about it? Look, I don't keep up with non-physical comics. Like, if something is coming out on Webtoon, if something is coming out on Marvel Unlimited, I'm not paying attention.
Damn, you not
That's
reading
just-
Alligator Loki?
No. But I think, look, if Marvel and DC should put comics where people are. If people are on Webtoon, they should put comics on Webtoon. So an Eternals comic, right? A movie that I think probably appealed to a lot of people more for the diversity of the cast and what it did for representation in these kinds of movies than necessarily like the quality of the film itself. I think that putting something like that out in a place where people can find it easily, accessibly, that's really smart. You know, the Eternals are clearly a group that Marvel wants to build around, and they should be placed where people can find it.
Especially with Star Fox being played by Harry Styles. Like, Harry Styles is big with the youths. You know, like they're
Is he?
gonna market. Oh, yeah. I had to
Yeah, wasn't he
change
in
my.
One Direction?
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
his
but
his,
that
his
was-
solo
I mean-
stuff is apparently like even like non-youths. Here's very good. Any Harry Styles fans out there, please let me know. But
I don't know if you're gonna find that around these parts, but maybe.
yeah, you never know. Here, Harris, a big Harry Styles fan. Harris calls himself Harris Styles on the side. He doesn't
I
tell people
fucking
that, but-
knew. I knew. I knew you would not be able to resist.
Sorry, Harris. You were the most recent comment. Yeah, it was just I just looked down.
Oh, that's
oh, there,
right. you
Kefis. See,
did,
yeah, Kefis. Yeah,
Catherine
Kefis
did
is
say that.
do it.
I think too, one of the Eternals would play well on a webtoon in the same way that like the Wayne Adventures, Wayne Family Adventures or whatever would, because in theory they have that family dynamic already.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what that comic is about, but
Also, you think that comment was by Grant Morrison? You think that's what GM stands for?
Oh,
Yeah.
don't get my hopes up, dude.
You think Grant's just a big Eternals webtoons fan?
yeah,
Yeah, okay, cool.
yeah, I
Good for
do.
them.
I do think that.
I think Grant Morrison would be my dream get for the show, but that'd be a tough interview to do without like just to stay professional. That'd be
I could do it.
hard.
I think I could do it.
It's so funny, Kale, because Tyler's over there saying he could do it. This motherfucker said, "Look, I don't really want to do any interviews, guys." Remember that?
I said, can you do a couple so I can get your feel for it? Because the one I did once for the long box was not good. But I feel like with Grant, there would be some kind of mind meld going on because obviously I have a very similar mind as Grant Morrison. And
In what way?
We're both equally smart.
All right, moving on.
With my new lifestyle, I've learned to lie to myself, and if you lie to yourself enough, it becomes true. I'm having a George Costanza summer, so
It's the Grant. What did he call it? You masturbate into a napkin and put it out into the world. What did he call it?
I don't remember what that's called, but
it's called a weeknight. All right, next comment.
That's called 7 days out of Tyler's week.
That's called a day that ends in Y. All right, Blue Spaceman on this week's Pals Polls. I believe that's a Cree. Pals Polls. I like the Eternals book a lot. I didn't have any big problem with Eve of Judgment, at least not on the writing front. Not really essential reading for the event. I'd say it as a preview, but I wasn't upset or anything at those text boxes.
Well, shit, man, I was. Like, I'm glad it worked for you. I love that, people love things that I don't love. But when I tell you that as soon as I opened that AXE Eve of Judgment comic and I saw, hello, this is the world, or this is the machine that is Earth, I was like, can I just not do this one? Can I skip out? I don't want to read this.
The week that you put 5 books on there, you're like,
And 2 Kieran Gillen books.
Yeah.
So it was like reading 7 comics.
Boy, yeah, it was. Man.
Even though Immortal X-Men was real good, but like, it is what it is.
Weather
Lot
looks
of
shitty
fucking
today,
words.
so,
Yeah.
Kieran's doing a Star Fox book. Just got announced, so there's more Harry Styles. One shot for now. It's a post-Judgment Day one shot, yeah.
Thanks for the comment, Blue Spaceman.
And Snake of Talon said, best turtle is Leonardo. Easy. Donatello is my second, so I'll give Marco and Tyler that. What's your favorite TMNT media/story? I love them and want to get into the comics soon. Well, first of all, Leonardo is not the best turtle, so award goes to Snake of Talons for wrong comment of the week.
Whoa, no. Award goes to Snake of Talons for best comment of the week because he's completely right.
Yeah,
Leonardo is the greatest Ninja Turtle. He should have...
Period.
Yeah, period. Yeah, that's it. You're right.
You can take your attitude there, Tyler, and flush it down the toilet where it came from.
I have to fix my toilet later, so maybe after.
Wow. Yeah, and by the way, no disrespect of Snake of Talons will be allowed on this podcast.
Especially since he's a Leonardo fan. We're gonna put the foot down there.
I would like to know what a Talon is, though.
A Talon from Nightwing, or from Court of Owls.
No, you could have said from
spelled
Nightwing.
it wrong.
I got it. Yeah, it's different.
All
It's a different
right.
Talon.
Well, listen.
Oh, I want to know.
Not
if it's
everybody
like a
can
thing.
not everybody can be a genius like you and Grant Morrison, Tyler.
Yep, big brain energy. Because I got BBE because BDE didn't really work out for me this summer.
The medic says, "Oh, is this the show about nothing?" No, the show about nothing is called Palling Around. That is our Patreon exclusive show. This show is about something. We just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
We could do an episode of Seinfeld Live. Audience, we will be taking a suggestion and we will do a whole episode of Seinfeld. I will be playing George and Kramer. Sean will be playing Elaine.
Huh.
Kale could pull
Sounds
off a
about right.
Jerry. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, just
That's
don't mention Jerry
interesting.
dating a 17-year-old when Seinfeld was on.
Ooh,
Okay.
Wait, who's Kramer? Who's playing Kramer? Did we establish that?
Oh, I would be Kramer and George. This is my yin and yang.
Yeah.
So
I've mastered the Kramer entrance, by the way. I worked on
believe-
that a
I
lot as a
believe
kid.
I really I used to do that stupid shit too.
Yeah.
Now you're aware of the legacy of Kramer.
Let's just say, don't give him a mic. Don't give him a hot mic.
Yeah, of Michael Richards specifically.
We'll leave it there.
Oh no, he's gonna say it. No. So I got the I have the Lego Seinfeld set, and I took a picture. So it comes like a little side piece that is the brick wall Jerry doing stand up thing. But I put Kramer's minifig on it.
Oh my God, Harris
like,
says
oh no.
Newman.
Yeah.
No,
actually
you
works,
guys
yeah.
don't realize how perfect that is.
No,
Yes.
I feel that. Yeah.
1000%.
The show is about Tyler's barely repressed sexual frustration. Next comment, Manny on Discord.
We didn't even answer Snake's
Oh yeah,
question.
yeah, we didn't.
The best episode of favorite TMT media is Seinfeld.
Now, admittedly, when it comes to comics, I really don't have much to say about the Turtles because I haven't read enough. I read some in the mid 2010s and it was real good, but I just dropped it.
Was it IDW that does them? I think so. They're real good. Yeah, real good.
My favorite Turtles anything is the first movie, the live action movie. I think it's a legitimately good movie. I do.
Yeah. The 5 TMNT movie, the computer one, is also actually really good. I think my favorite though has to be the Power Rangers in Space Ninja Turtle crossover.
Yo, yes.
Man, so good.
So my favorite is actually Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secrets of the Ooze. Specifically, I watched
Number
it.
2.
It's the second one. Yeah. With Kevin Nash as Super Shredder.
Hell yeah, dude. Too sweet.
Because I watched it in preparation to a live showing of How Did This Get Made, where Adam Pally was on the show, and Adam Pally talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was fantastic, and the whole crowd sang "Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go." It was a great experience.
Fuck yeah.
It's great.
Wow.
There,
And somebody
in terms of
proposed
the
to somebody
comics-
in the crowd too, actually, on that show, which was very weird.
In terms of the comics, there's a storyline where Donatello loses his arms, so he makes himself a robot body, and then Raph becomes Shredder. The 80s were wild. Yeah.
Like he becomes a villain.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
I want to say the company's Mirage. You can find it in some of the old Turtles collections. Highly recommend it.
Mirage
Tyler, does that
Comics.
mean we're obligated to read the comics? since you
No, because I
highlighted it?
already said it, so I already read
okay.
my own highlighted message. I just wanted to put that energy into the chat.
Oh, good. Yeah,
it's a
please
little
highlight
injection of
messages,
it, yeah.
guys. Use your channel points,
Your pals points.
house points. Thank you.
We'll
yes.
read them. We may regret it, but we'll read them.
Yeah. Oh no, Michael Richards is in the chat.
Whoa. Thanks, Snake, for the comment.
So last one. So Manny on Discord says, have the recent batch of MCU left y'all wanting more? Minus credit scenes and things said actors, Feige, or directors outside the movie show. Have I been unsatiated by Phase 4 of Marvel? I would say neither. Like I don't want to give a non-answer to that, but like I don't have expectations for it, so I don't really feel like I'm missing something. You know, like it's a rebuilding phase. Like have fun, do whatever you want. It's fine. I don't have expectations for a Shang-Chi movie.
I think I don't know how exactly we're supposed to interpret the question, but in my mind, the question was, and again, like maybe Manny meant something different, but I thought he was saying, have they left you wanting more? Like, oh man, I can't wait for more of this. I thought that's what he meant. So how would you answer it from that perspective.
I would like more Shang-Chi. I like that movie a lot. So I like the characters. I'm excited to see where the characters go in this. And I will say, after seeing all the Miss Marvel episodes from my uncle who works at Disney, my uncle's name is Michael Eisner. That's my uncle.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I want more of that. I would like more Loki, which I am getting, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, there's things out there that I'm like, yeah, give me more of this.
Yeah. Falcon Winter Soldier.
Huh.
That's about it, I think.
Give
Loki.
me more angry mommy Scarlet Witch.
You know what? If that's all they give us, I will take that.
Didn't see a body.
Oh, she's not dead. Come on.
No way.
She's not
No way.
dead. She's gonna have her face turn in Secret Wars or something down the line. And,
Come in with the briefcase, cashing in. Yeah, I know. I got to keep the wrestling references going until we get to that topic. So,
Yo, I would love to see that Photoshop, dude, of Scarlet Witch with a Money in the Bank briefcase.
yeah.
That's good. You know what? For me, I'm perpetually looking forward to the next thing when it comes to Marvel. It doesn't really matter. Like, I have short-term memory when it comes to this stuff. Like, I don't care that Thor was bad. There have been bad Marvel movies before. It doesn't mean anything. You know, if I didn't have a show where we talk about this stuff, like, I'd go to the movie, see Thor: Love and Thunder, be like, "Oh, that sucked," and then move on with my life. And then whenever
Spoiler
the next
for our
one
episode,
comes out,
Sean.
listen, dude. So, but yeah, like I look forward to all this stuff, and you know, they got me on the hook. They'd have to do something catastrophically bad to lose me. Like, it'd be really hard. So, one thing they could do to lose me though is mess up the Fantastic Four. So we've been talking on this show a lot about, you know, what we want to see from that, vaguely casting stuff. You know, we don't do too much of that here, but there was a leak this week, allegedly, an alleged leak. Now, I believe this came from 4chan.
Oh boy, we really are the QAnon show today.
And, you know, look, 4chan, not the most reliable, right? It could be written by some dude in a basement who's, you know, just trying to get a rise out of people. But
Could
it
have been written by a high school me.
Word. Let me read this highlighted comment from Catherine. Let's not talk about this casting announcement because I am not happy. Oh boy.
Sorry, I like CW Gordon's Fantastic 4chan. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. What a way to join the stream, CW.
Yeah, you get an award for that one.
Coming in hot. All right. So the first thing, and this is disappointing to Catherine, is that John Krasinski is not coming back. By now, the expectation is that you've seen Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't, sorry, but you know,
it's on the stream. Whoops.
Yeah, Reed Richards was in it. John Krasinski played him. Everything that has been said about that by everyone who's talked about it made it sound like it was fan service. I think it might be the most direct fan service thing Marvel has done yet. And I think that's all it was. I don't think we're going to see him again. Unfortunate, because I feel like he's Reed Richards, but
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with it.
Okay.
I think even though it's Fantastic Four, I think you need young blood on this. You know,
That's true too. That's a good point.
And Krasinski's been doing a lot of like not just acting. He does a lot of I think he's been doing directing work too. Didn't he direct like A Quiet Place 2 or something?
He has been doing directing.
Yeah, and he's doing a lot of producer work. Him and his wife Emily Blunt. I get the Emilys and the Emmas mixed up constantly. But Emily Blunt, they've been doing a lot of like non-acting movie stuff. So I mean, that's where the money is, I believe. So smart on them. But yeah, I'm okay with. I'm especially okay with who we're going to talk about. So.
Yeah, Catherine, I agree. It is a slap in the face not to be able to continue to see him.
This is the saltiest I've seen Catherine in the chat. I like
Yeah,
the energy.
You can't get between her and John Krasinski, apparently. Kefis says cast whomever because FF ain't coming out till 2024 best case. And then he put my head in there. Look,
just
dude.
a Sean emoji.
Yeah.
Calling you out.
It's gonna happen, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna be buying me Jonathan Hickman's X-Men Omnibus if I haven't copped it already.
The medic says, time to get Chris Evans for Human Torch. I can see them doing that for something. I don't know what, but for something. Like, if they do a giant Secret Wars crossover where all these weird heroes are showing up, like, it would be a good gag to have, like, Chris Evans show up, and everyone's like, oh, shit, it's Cap, and he just says Flame On, and then, like, it's like, oh, it's not. This is that.
That would melt minds.
It would. Oh, yeah, literally. So.
There's a whole list of things on this leak, not just casting. So I'm going to run through them. Bryce Dallas Howard directing rumors are false. So there was a rumor about her being the one tapped to do this. She's been doing directing. She's been doing that for a while.
This is for Fantastic Four.
For Fantastic Four, yeah.
Okay.
Apparently that's a false rumor.
Whoa. Huh. I hadn't heard any of that. Wow.
Yeah. Jason Segel won't be playing the Thing. I don't know who that is.
That's okay. You don't know who Jason Segel is?
No.
He's part of Rogan's. You ever see the Muppets 2011 movie?
No.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No.
How I Met Your Mother?
No.
Wow.
What else is he in?
Kale, are there any other Caucasian media we throw at him? See what sticks.
If you name a comedy, my answer will be no. Almost 100%.
You got to watch Muppets 2011, dude. That's good stuff.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he's in anything else, really.
Well, he won't be in Fantastic Four, according to this. No director attached. No director attached as of now. They're looking for actors in their 20s, 30s for the main characters. That makes sense.
That's me.
I think that's the right way. Who are you going to play? The Thing? I could see that.
I could play a mole man.
Damn.
Yo.
I know where my strengths lie, and
You're
that's underground.
You're Mole Man. I want to be Reed. I've got the grades.
I feel like you can do the voice of a good Dragon Man, Sean, if we're gonna fan cast.
Fuck
interesting.
That. No, I want to be in the movie.
Who? I mean, the Human Torch didn't work out too well last time. We did that.
And we're gonna talk about that in a moment. But I probably should be the Human Torch. But I want to be Reed. I want to be Reed Richards. But
let me see a stretch right now, Sean.
Let's not even get into that.
Who am I?
You would
the mailman guy.
All right.
What's his name? Somebody in the chat knows the
Stan
Fantastic
Lee.
Fours.
Yeah, Stan Lee. That's my thought. Penn Badgley.
Sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Is one of the top choices for Reed. Now,
Billy Lumpkin.
his picture's been floating around all over the place. It's on the screen right now if you're watching this. He's the guy from You.
Me?
No, You.
Me?
Who's on first?
Me. He plays a nut on that show, like a psycho.
That
right?
show's pretty fun, dude.
A stalker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of an interesting energy to bring to Reed. Reed's a little creepy. He has creep energy sometimes, especially if you go too far back into the comics and you find out that my man was fantasizing about Sue Storm when she was way young. Hopefully, they close that age gap in the films. But
he's there in a lounging robe, smoking a cigar, talking about, well, she's only 14, you know.
I'm gonna marry that woman someday.
What type of shit is that?
I can't wait to impregnate that 14-year-old Reed Richards.
Tyler, my God, dude.
Don't clip that. Don't
That-
clip that.
It's gonna
Oh
be our
my god.
Instagram
Yeah,
podcast.
that's
ad for the
that
week.
big brain energy that I said I share that energy. I don't share that energy with Reed Richards. You know, he's just no,
Fucking share it
you.
with the Flash.
You. So I will say, Penn Badgley is in you. He can play like really overthinker. He like the overthinker real well because his whole thing is he's a stalker slash murderer. Sort of like Dexter. If Dexter couldn't really, Dexter can turn off the killer and stuff. You know.
Okay, I know what this is. Right.
And I think his co-star in you, who played Love, could I could see her could join the MCU too. Yeah,
Played Love.
her name's Love.
Oh, okay. On the
Yeah,
show.
yeah, on the show. You now we're not talking about Love and Thunder right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what? His co-star was an 8-year-old. What the hell?
Yeah. Like again, perfect read.
I gotta go. I mean, you can't keep saying this shit, man.
Anyone else have a favorite comic book character that I can bring back some old panels for and make them hate the character? You know,
Jean
that's
Grey.
fine. Trust me, there. I can make it hate Professor X. That's for sure.
You can't, because I know everything about Professor X, and I accept him as he is. Anyway,
There's a rumor for Professor X that's going around for San Diego Comic Con that we might get an announcement for casting on that. It's out there.
I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, it's out there, guys. Careful.
Simon Baker is wanted for the villain. Now, I don't see how you go from
is that?
20 to 30s
Interesting.
to 54 or whatever. My man is old. My man is in
don't
his
know who this
50s.
is.
Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Oh,
That's the guy, the mentalist.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Presumably for Doom.
Yeah,
He looks the part,
yeah.
Huh,
I can
he
see
is
that.
handsome.
I like that.
but he's old. Like, I don't get it. How can he be Doom?
What if he's Doom's? Like, I think if you play this in, he was Doom's professor in college or something, and he maybe stole the thunder, and they were like on some kind of thing. Like, I don't know, because the
Reed's
whole
professor.
yeah, he would be Reed's professor in college. I feel like there could be like a weird dynamic there that can maybe translate to that rival dynamic that's in the comics.
So making like doing an alternate origin for Doom, like instead of being a rival, he's his professor.
Well, maybe his professor that feels like the student took all the glory or something, you know?
But you're
The-
saying
the
he
jaded
would be Doom.
professor. No, I feel like he could be Molecule Man.
Oh, ooh,
I feel like
Right.
you got to seed that if you're doing Secret Wars.
that's crazy.
He's got the hair too.
But come on, though, we got to get Doom going. Like, we got to get it. We got to make that happen. But you know what?
I don't
though?
even have a fan casting for Doom. Is the thing. Like,
Me neither. I
It's
kind of
so
want
hard.
them to. I don't want them to just beat him. Like, I don't want him to get jobbed out right away. I hate that. So I'm almost down to wait a little while. But you can't cast a guy who's in his 50s for Doom the same way you cannot cast an older person for Reed, because they're gonna have to play the role for a little while. And I mean, is he gonna be 60 years old playing
I think-
Doctor Doom?
I mean, this
Probably.
Simon Baker. He looks like he's in better shape than me. So I think he's good.
He's in better shape than most people.
Yeah.
But
I like his
Anyway,
glasses. Oh, man.
other names that they're throwing around for the Fantastic Four are Logan Lerman, Freddie
Oh.
Carter, Melissa Benoist.
Supergirl.
Ben-
Yeah,
it's
Supergirl.
Benoit.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
Melissa Benoit.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna
Any
hit the quick
relation?
crossface on Doctor Doom.
Reed better not fuck with her. That's
Yeah,
all
ooh.
I'm saying.
I don't know.
Franklin and Valeria.
No.
Sorry, that was. Never mind. I'm not explaining that joke. I'm not explaining that joke. Logan Lerman. It's
Wow.
Alan Holman. Thanks for the follow.
Thank you for the follow.
Logan Lerman is the he played what's his face,
Percy
the
Jackson.
lightning thief. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Callan McAleef. That's a name. Natalia Dyer, from Stranger Things.
From Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Jarrell Jerome. Now,
Jerome. That sounds like a comic. That's a fun name to say. That's a comic book name right there.
From Moonlight. Jarrell Jerome.
Fantastic movie.
Happens to be black. And obviously, like, he theoretically could be in the running for Reed, Thing, Human Torch, whoever. I suspect that he's in the running for Human Torch, and that they're going to do that whole thing again.
So do they do like a weird explanation of the sibling relationship again with Sue? Do they drop that? I feel like they can't do a non-white person for the Thing, because I think there will be outcry like, oh, your only POC character is you Princess and the Frog, this one, guys.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I don't want to see him as Human Torch either, because again, Fantastic Four or Fan Four Stick kind of like, I don't know, it soured me on that whole idea. And not that Michael B. Jordan was bad or anything like that. It's just it's too much effort to explain the whole like found family kind of thing.
Michael B. Forgetful in that movie, that's for sure.
I think we all want to be forgetful about that. I though wouldn't necessarily be opposed to him playing Reed. Like, look, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm always gonna want the 1-to-1 comic book version of the character. That's just how it is. So if the Fantastic Four were all white people, that wouldn't bother me. But I get why they wouldn't want to do that. So as long as it's done well, I don't care. Ultimately, I was pretty upset with the Michael B. Jordan casting for Human Torch back in the day. I've grown. I'll accept whatever they do, and I'm sure he's a talented actor, and that's what matters. No offers have been sent out for any of the actors, and casting started a couple of months ago and should be announced at D23. So D23, let's see when that is. D23 September. Is in September. That
guys, I'm not a Disney nerd, I swear. Definitely not waiting for
you didn't even look that up.
No, that's on my brain. Yeah. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that Tron Light Cycle Run announcement. I need to know when that ride's opening up, my guy. Come on. Get onto the grid. I'm excited.
I like this. Like, I looked at the actors. They look like they could be in a Fantastic Four movie. I'm into it. And I buy this leak. I do.
Yeah.
You guys? No?
I like Penn Badgley as Mr. Fantastic. I don't know. The thing is, too, like, Marvel's, they know what they're doing with casting, and I'm pretty sure I can trust them. Like the guy playing Shang-Chi, I was not familiar with his work. And then I see Shang-Chi, I'm like, oh, this is the most likable guy the MCU's gotten for maybe since the beginning of the MCU. Like, since like the original Avengers 4, I'm like, this guy's great. Simu Liu killed it in that role.
The only
I trust them.
The only one they've missed with is Tom Holland. So.
Oh, please. C.W. Gordon said they could just make Invisible Woman black as well. I don't know why, but that got me. Oh, man. I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? That'd be cool.
And you certainly wouldn't have to answer any weird questions in that case.
Right.
Unless you're from the South, I guess.
The MCU superpower is casting. I agree. I think they've done a tremendous job. New commenter, first time commenter from Alan Holman. Comic books are very important to me, but I always end up reading the ones that aren't as popular as what podcasters talk about. You know what? We talk about weird books too, and I think we might end up talking about some in our main topic.
Kale's comics tag. Definitely weird sometimes. Alan, I'd recommend you definitely check out our Thursday night streams. That's be 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's where we talk about the actual books of comics.
Yeah, we review them.
Yep. The Saturday ones are a little more like comics, world stuff. We're talking MCU stuff, a lot of MCU stuff. But in terms of the actual comic books, definitely come check out our Thursday streams.
Yeah, and Kefis makes a great recommendation, joining our Discord, because you might be surprised by some of the books that get talked about over there. It's not all big two. We have a wide variety of people that love a wide variety of comics. So would love to have you be a part of this community. Thank you. So yeah, this is the leak. These are the rumors. We will find out very soon, allegedly September. And if in September we find out casting,
we get a date.
We get a date.
Yeah.
And I feel very confident that I will then win the bet with Kefis.
So you're saying we can finally put an end to this bit, and I might know when I could ride Tron, the same convention? Wow.
Ride Tron.
Hey. I don't mind if he gets get a little derez by Tron there. It's fine with me.
Tyler looking for new experiences.
Hey, new me.
All right.
And it's just it's not real. It's just virtual.
You know who else was new this week? Daredevil. Daredevil came out with a new #1, popped up and said, "New #1, new me," but it was actually same me, because it was a literal 1-to-1 continuation from the previous Daredevil.
Doesn't sound like a bad thing in my opinion.
Oh, it's not a bad thing at all. It's my book of the week. But they're going back to old me, because they are putting out Daredevil number 650. Ancient me. My man Daredevil is old.
Oh, that's young and spry in comic book years.
650?
Yeah.
That's about as spry as Dan Trudeau.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah. We've maintained that it is spry.
It is.
We got like 1000s going on right now. But also I got a gripe here. Are we just celebrating on the 50s now? Is that a thing?
That's what's I was going to bring that up. That's not fantastic. I don't see a reason for that. Like 650, 700, absolutely. I'm here for it. 650, they're bringing back some heavy hitters for 650. They're bringing back.
CW Gordon points out they should have waited for 666 because he's the fucking devil. Are you kidding me? It's right there.
That would have been cool.
Oh,
Mephisto confirmed.
Cool. Hold on. Wait a second. Before we continue with the Daredevil conversation, Megalodon in the chat, which it doesn't say first time commenter, so I guess it's not a first time. Could I get a title review of my comic?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
You want me to review the title of it? It's gotta have a punchy title.
What?
I want to workshop this.
Should
Go
we?
on the Discord. We can workshop this in the Discord if you want.
Maybe we should do it live. Just workshop their title live.
If you're wondering about the title, the review of the title of my book. If you want to throw Megalodon, if you want to throw the title of your book in there, if you want to put the elevator pitch in the chat, title and quick sentence of what it's about.
Yeah, why not?
It's called Psionic 6. That's already pretty cool.
Honestly,
not bad. Yeah.
I was ready to roast you. I was. But
That's what the
like
segment
that
was
one.
about to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Decent, that's a decent title.
We need the pitch though, because the name, everybody can come up with a name.
Sure.
But what's your angle? Tell us the angle.
6 superpowered guinea pigs. A sequel to G-Force.
Let's continue talking Daredevil. So these are the people. Oh my God! So Daredevil #2, right, by Zdarsky and Chichetto, is going to be 650. That's what. That's what. Yeah. So they're going from 1 to 650.
Yeah. Oh my God! I hate that shit. That's stupid.
They're going from 1 again to 650.
Yeah. And they're going to be bringing back to tell stories within this issue Ann Nocenti, John Romita Jr., Rafael de la Torre, Alex Maleev, come on, Paul Azaceta,
Ooh.
Phil Noto, Chris Samnee.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I got the dong tattoo right here. It's my
Look at my
Somni
man.
Daredevil tattoo right there. As I spank myself.
That
Daddy,
was
chill.
so weird to watch. That was so weird to watch.
Did it right on the mic too.
Klaus Janson and Mike Hawthorne. That's everyone announced that they're bringing back. So that's pretty cool. You know, I'm a little burnt out maybe on anniversary issues, and I think Marvel needs to slow their roll and do them when they're important. I don't think 650 needs to be done. 666 I could have gotten behind.
I'm okay with an anniversary issue. It's nice to have an anniversary.
Okay. Wow. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, so I you know, it's cool. I'm excited for the names. It'll be cool to see some of them pop up in their respective role. But, you know, again, there have been so many anniversary issues. Like they're doing one for Ghost Rider coming up soon. Like it's a lot. It's a lot.
And they're doing like the whole year of Spider-Man too. It's like its 60th anniversary or something like that. So it's not necessarily anniversary, but like an anniversary issue. But they've been doing that across the media board. Yeah. So Psionic 6, cool title. Alan Holman wanted to throw the title of his thing in there too. It's Banana Chan. I kind of like that too.
Volumes 1 to 5.
A lot of banana.
So
They're
my man's
available.
been working.
They're available on Amazon. There's a little plug for you, dude. Let's see.
If you guys need some what's that what's the thing inside bananas that's good for you? Potassium. Yeah, I watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I remember that. Yeah.
So Alan's comic is it's about a teenage girl who's been arranged to marry the son of a magnate from a company that does contracts for a secret space program.
Is it Reed Richards?
Well, you know what? It's weird as hell that both of you guys came and did this at the same time. I don't know if there's some kind of like thing happening, but either way, we'd love to see people creating, and it's awesome. And I'm really happy for you guys. And if you stick around in the community, you know, we have creators here. Kale, as you know, as a creator, he's got stuff. We have several in our Discord.
The specific channel
community of creators as well.
Yeah.
There's what's the channel called in Discord? I can't bring it up because it's on the window where the
aspiring creators.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep,
Yeah.
Aspiring creators. And there are regular posts there from people in our community. So, you know, join our community, get involved, and I have no problem at all promoting people from our community. Like that's what it should be about. So
Yep. The medic says Kale's a great artist. Yeah.
Kale's a fine artist.
And please do us a favor. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We did you a little favor. Do us a little favor.
Little squid pro quo there.
Quid pro quo. Twitch.tv or YouTube.com/thecommonsfiles.
Nobody's asking you to watch. Just give us a little click. That's all.
Hey, you should watch. It's a good show.
You should watch. It's a fine show. Just a click.
So, we talked about MCU casting and new arrivals. Well, here's one of the worst kept secrets in MCU, and I think this comic book announcement further proves it. Namor is getting a new comic book. I wonder why.
What?
Right? If you're not convinced yet that Namor will be the antagonist of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, you're bugging.
You're fucking stupid.
Wow.
All this evidence in front of you, and you deny it? You're fucking stupid.
Well,
was that too aggressive?
It is, yeah.
Well, you know.
A lot of times those book announcements are like, they feel too movie tie-in for me. I think Marvel more recently has been doing a good job of putting out books that are actually quality. Like the Kang one they did obviously for the alignment with, you know, and that was really good. Now we have a Namor book, and this one's by Christopher Cantwell. So the book is called Namor Conquered Shores, and it is coming out in the near future. Um, Pasquale Ferry, it looks like, is going to be the artist on this one.
Yep.
Who we just saw do the Eternals, the Eve of Judgment, which, you know, I didn't love, but you know what?
Normally Pascal Ferry's very good.
Yes, absolutely. I'm into this. This is a book about Namor in the future when the world has flooded and Namor's the king. He rules the world. And that's what the book's about. I'm into that.
I gotta say, I am on the ride for any Christopher Cantwell Marvel books.
Right. I know you love that.
I'm a big. Was he my pick for up and breakout? I think.
been.
I want to say
It was either him or Jed McKay. I think there was. I might have flip flopped between the two, but yeah, man, and to see Namor's svelte body on the page again, guys, let's go, let's go. Those muty ankles he's got there.
Yeah.
Oh, can't say that.
wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm into this. I'm into Namor. I think Namor's a character. Like, if I had to name a character that I think is going to break out in like the next phase or so of Marvel, Namor would be one of them.
Yeah. Gotta be Namor.
Has
Who's
there-
left?
Tigra.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. That's for you, Sean.
Listen,
Has
dude.
Can you imagine?
has there I feel like the idea of Namor being an undersea, king of Atlantis, has there been a Namor old gods story?
I don't think so.
Doesn't Cthulhu come from the furthest part from the Point Nemo? Isn't that where he's from?
I don't know.
Underwater. I feel like there's an old gods Namor story out there that hasn't been told yet.
That could be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's untapped potential in general with Namor. Namor was everywhere in the later 2000s and then
Marvel Knights.
2010s.
Yep.
Yeah. And then ever since Hickman's stuff ended, I feel like Namor has kind of been a ghost. I don't really see much of him.
All it takes is an MCU appearance for you to get comics again.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, that's been Marvel Comics for a while. So,
I do you have a question?
2008. Yeah.
Do you want to see the classic Namor? The Speedo with just the Speedo, really? Or do you want do you guys like the more modern day Namor? With he's got a little more armor, he's a little more regal, he's got full on pants.
I like armored Namor, and I think that makes more sense for real world application. But there has to be some kind of representation at some point of Speedo, shirtless Namor, because the sex appeal of the character is as relevant to him as his regalness and his warrior nature. So you got to do that.
Speaking of the sex appeal, I can't wait to see what the MCU does with Namor, Reed, and Sue, because they gotta touch on that.
They're not gonna touch
Dude,
that.
They gotta touch on that.
No, it's fucking Disney.
I don't want to see no planking, but there has to be heat between Namor and Sue. They got to make it hot.
Even a good look, a good glance,
No, it's not gonna happen.
But they can't. But she can't cheat on Reed, though, right?
No. It's got to be it's just a flirtation. That's all I need.
Heat.
That's all I need. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen.
All right, we'll see.
What do you tell me? There's no sex appeal in my Marvel Cinematic Universe?
None. Yep. We will also, though, in just a week or so, be seeing what Scott Snyder has planned for San Diego Comic-Con.
It's not Scott-tober, though.
Yes, it is. It's Scott-tober in the West Coast. That's what Comixology is bringing.
I don't understand time zones then.
Scott Timber.
Scott Timber. It's
July.
It's July.
Right.
Can't
now,
do that
when's- Oh, that's next week.
Yeah. San Diego Comic-Con's next week. Yeah.
Hang on. Okay, I'll work on a funny portmanteau.
All right. We'll see you next week then.
Yeah.
Oh. So Scott's bringing 3 new books with him. Of course, at New York Comic Con during actual Scottober, he announced like a whole host of different books.
Yeah.
This time around, he's got 3 books with 3 new artists, and the books are Barnstormers. This one is, of course, all the books are written by Scott, with art by Tula Lotte, colors by D. Kadif, and letters by Richard Starkings. Barnstormers is it says it's a high-flying adventure romance set at the height of the Roaring Twenties. This Bonnie and Clyde romp brings together Scott Snyder and Tula Lotte, a pilot fresh from the airfields of the Great War who supports himself by taking civilians for barnstorming joyrides in the sky for a small fee. But Hawk has a secret, and when an impromptu wedding crash turns into an early getaway with Tilly, the would-be bride, unexpected new bonds form in this thrilling tale of love and murder.
Moira?
Is this what's being announced?
This was announced in Scottober, but I think this is it finally coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I swear I've heard all this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah.
Tula Tay is a name that I will pretty much check out anything she does.
Yeah.
So
you
it's
got
more of
these
a pull for me
fucking-
than Scott Snyder.
I didn't want to get
Interesting.
this book because I was like, I don't care. Then I saw the art that they're now showing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Man.
I've
Are you
never
not
seen-
familiar with Tula
No,
Tay? Ooh,
no.
Ooh.
I love
Unreal.
stories about these types of planes and stories about pilots, man. Fucking, I'm in.
Big Red Baron fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Porco Rosso.
Yeah. Amelia Earhart. We find her yet?
Yes,
No, we did. Okay.
they have. I don't remember where they said she was, but they have found her.
The second one is Dudley Dotson and the Forever Machine. This one's by Scott with Jamal Eigel. Inks by Juan Castro, colors by Chris Sotomayor, and letters by Tom Napolitano. Damn, that's a creative team.
Got that Bezos money pulling that team together.
Holy shit.
This feels like a Kirby love letter, is what I'm getting out of this. I'm getting, the Tomorrow People, Commandi sort of feel from this.
The first thing I noticed in the preview art that we have here is that there's an owl in the book, and I love owls, so that's an immediate selling point.
Who's your favorite owl, Sean?
What kind of question is that? Like,
You got Owl from Winnie the Pooh. You got Hedwig. You got
Get the owl from the Tootsie Roll commercial.
Yeah, 1,
Tootsie
2,
Pop
3.
Yeah.
How about
that guy's a dick. That you don't pick that one.
my favorite owl is the owl that it's the owl that Silk Spectre had in the Watchmen TV show that she covered up while she was using the Dr. Manhattan vibrator.
Which felt like yeah.
That's my favorite.
Kale,
owl.
do you have a favorite owl?
I've got a whole movie of favorite owls.
Okay.
The Owls of Gahoo.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Mine's the Hooters mascot. All right, next.
Wow. Kefis asks, Sean, have you ever seen the original Clash of the Titans Mechanical Owl? No, I don't
Archimedes.
Even know what that
Is his name Archimedes, or is that the one from Sword and Stone?
That's Sword in the Stone, yeah.
Okay.
The original Clash of the Titans are tremendous.
Oh, it's real
That's
good.
that's that
Ray
old,
Harryhausen.
Yeah. This is Ray Harryhausen is the guy that like invented stop motion animation, or at least perfected it.
Yeah.
And so like the stuff that's on the screen looks amazing.
Jason the Argonauts. Those skeletons, man.
Yeah.
So, just real quick about this book. It is described as a rollicking adventure story about a boy, his dog, and a machine that controls time and space. What could go wrong? Have you ever wondered why all the great figures in history had a pet companion, and if they were all running from the same mysterious threat? Such questions have never crossed the mind of Dudley Datsun, a 15-year-old with a penchant for invention. But when dastardly foes turn his world upside down, Dudley is going to have to start facing things beyond his wildest imagination in this modern-day fable. The main character is black. Is that Scott's first?
Nah, Duke.
Well,
Don't forget Duke. The internet will be all over you. There's no Duke. There's no Duke erasure going
Duke's
on.
not a main. Wasn't the main character.
He was a main character in an arc.
He did have a book, and he was the titular
Signal.
Robin of the War of the Robins.
That Snyder wrote.
The Signal, right? Wasn't the Signal?
Scott Snyder didn't write that shit. That was co-written by Scott Snyder. And then the last one is called Canary. Dan Panosian and Richard Starkings joined Snyder for this one.
Dan Panosian's fantastic.
It's 1891,
yeah.
and a mine collapses into itself. But was the collapse an accident, or does something far more sinister lurk beneath the blood and rubble? Find out in this mind-bending horror western. Cool.
Yeah, cool.
What sucks about these books is that they're digital first.
Not for me. And what I mean by that is that's cool for me.
Yeah, you read digital first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I won't be getting these for who knows how long.
I'll say I'll put on the PALS polls. Okay, when are they eligible for a PAL poll? When they're physical?
No, we can do them digital.
Okay. All right.
Have we seen any of the Scottober stuff come out physically yet?
Yeah, we have Demons.
Is that out? Okay. Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say because we've seen the Substack stuff start to come out. So
Right. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I'm look, I love Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder is super talented, and this new era of Snyder where he's just like pairing himself with some of the best artists in the industry.
Unchained.
Yeah, Snyder Unchained. I like it.
Snyder Unchained didn't work too well when he did Superman Unchained, but
yeah, I'm not sure how much of his fault that was, but yeah, you're right. You're not wrong about that. All the Scottober, the initial wave of Scottober books, I read the first ones of each, and they're all great. So there shouldn't be any exception.
Yeah, I've read a few, and I like what I've read for sure.
Yeah,
and if nothing else, like the premises are all fairly strong. You know, each one is unique.
It's shocking to me how many premises this guy has.
Yeah,
in his back pocket.
Where the fuck does he find the time?
Yo, he probably takes like 20 showers a day to get those shower thoughts going.
Oh man,
no,
he guy's got to write in the shower.
He comes up with his ideas while he's shitting.
I used to when I wrote screenplays. I used to write my screenplays in the bathtub. That's when I did. Like I would literally have my iPad and I would be writing it in the bath. I wrote all my screenplays naked.
You would take a bath.
Yep.
Did you have bubbles?
Always. Sometimes
So
made my own.
You would take a bubble bath. Oh god, that's disgusting.
Yep.
You would take a bubble bath and write your screenplays. Hey, you know what? I can think of worse ways to do that.
Yep. It was it's where my juices were flowing mentally.
You're welcome, Alan. And I hope that is the case. I do hope that you sell some books off the strength of this show. That'd be cool. Let's talk about ONI Press, who are they're going to be having problems selling books.
They're going to be ONI depressed.
The people that work for ONI are depressed because
yes, they are.
They ain't getting paid. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about ONI Press getting sued, and in conjunction with that, it was like, all right, well, ONI's getting sued, and that sucks. We want to rally behind them, but at the same time, they're not paying comics creators, and they're being shady. So it was weird, right? But still, let's support ONI Press. That was the mentality. The last week, ONI put out a statement in response, not to being sued. They didn't lean into the thing that people want to like rally around them for. They leaned into being shitty. And so creators are alleging that ONI Press is not paying royalties. They're not moving forward with books that they've committed to moving forward with, that have creative teams attached, that are, worked on or whatever. They're not moving forward with them, but they're not telling creators anything either. So there's been a movement to take your books back from ONI, buy them back if you were paid out an advance, get the rights back, talk to your lawyer, all these kinds of things. And so in response to all of this, ONI Press decided to put out a statement.
Sorry, it's one of the worst statements I've read in a while.
It's bad. It is the worst. It's the worst. Like, I can't even believe that this is that their PR people allowed.
Well, their PR person left 2 weeks ago, so we don't know who did this.
Yeah. So here's the announcement from ONI Press Lion Forge. Everything I'm about to say is exactly what's in the press release. With wildly sensationalistic rumors circulating and false information spreading, we'd like to reiterate that recent personnel changes at ONI Lion Forge Publishing Group were made with the sole purpose of evolving the company and brand and positioning it for long-term success. We're proud of our long history in the business and continually strive to be better and do better. We started Lion Forge Comics 11 years ago, specifically to make great creator-driven content, and ONI's history is 25 years in the business. Within a new framework that is being worked on now, we remain committed to publishing groundbreaking content, embracing pioneering creators, and advancing authentic diversity and inclusion. We see an incredibly exciting future, not just for the company, but for our fans and content consumers worldwide.
And Sylph Stevenson in the chat goes, how do you do, fellow content consumers?
Right? What type of shit is that? Content consumers?
They don't mention the word writers, artists, or comics in this at all.
No, this belongs in the trash. Who wrote this? Who
A robot.
This? Wildly sensationalistic rumors. No, they're not.
This reads like a Trump tweet. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wildly sensationalistic from who? From the creators that aren't getting paid? From the people that actually got laid off?
Yeah.
Who's making stuff up?
I don't know.
This is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna survive. That's what they don't get. Only Lion Forge is not surviving this if this is the kind of thing that they think is acceptable. Who's going to work for them? You're not going to be able to get top tier creators working, even mid-level. You can't get when you're doing shit like this. The comics industry is very small, and creators all know, even if they don't talk about it, they all know what the companies are doing and what shenanigans they pull. We heard about ONI not paying people years ago.
Yup.
You're not going to survive like that. Come on.
And it's stressful as shit for the creators who have, work in progress at ONI.
Yeah.
Some of them have had their editors laid off. And then now they're like, oh, who the hell do I fucking contact at this thing? There's like two or three people who are like in the editing department still with ONI. And it's stressful as shit. Do I have to worry about, is my thing never going to be published now? Is it creator owned? Did I sell the IP off?
Right.
This just reads like a company culling the fat in their eyes and just consolidating all the stuff they own. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if the creator owned stuff just disappears, stops being published, and it's only owned IP that gets published. Because it's just going to be an IP farm. This is all it is. It's like ONI Press is an IP farm now. It's either becomes an IP farm for media outside of comics, or this is just preparation for a sale of the company of ONI Press. I see one of two of those things happening.
Even Jim Zub was in limbo.
Is he in the quotes fighting again?
Mm-hmm. Jim Zub was in limbo about his book at ONI Press. Jim Zub works for Marvel Comics and gets paid by Marvel Comics. And ONI Press is leaving him in limbo. You kidding me?
Jim Zub's like a veteran.
That's the thing with creator-owned books, though. It's just like anybody can pull the plug at any time.
Which is one thing, right? But like Zub said, he said, wondering if the rumored skeleton crew being kept on at ONI Press will include people working on the project we were set to announce next week. At this rate, I feel like I'm going to find out via Twitter.
Something tells me that ain't coming out next week because they canceled their Comic-Con appearance too.
You're right, because 6 hours later, Zub put out, I've been told my current ONI project is secure, though it obviously won't be announced at an SDCC panel as originally planned. Fingers crossed. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, friend of the show, Mark Bouchard. It took Luke coming out from ONI Press. You know, the stuff is out there. Like they just posted that the library copies or like the review copies or whatever just came out.
Yeah.
There's a term for it. But I've been texting them and it's fucking stressful. I'm like, yo, you good? But it's such a like. It's like, oh, we just destroyed this whole company. But yeah, I know dozens and dozens of creators have stuff coming out. We'll get to you. Don't worry about it.
And they won't.
Megalodon asks, what's the biggest creator-owned book not named The Walking Dead? Spawn? Saga?
I would say Spawn.
Spawn?
Yeah.
I mean, Spawn did make $1 million in that
Toy sales.
Kickstarter,
Yeah.
but that was a toy. Yeah, probably Spawn. I think Spawn, and then it has to be Saga, right? Like, maybe Invincible, The Boys.
I don't know. I don't feel like Saga's the answer though.
They can't even keep The Boys on shelves. It's nuts. But yeah, something like that. I would imagine. So ONI Press sucks. Believe that.
It's a good summation.
They're grifting their creators. Wrestling superstar Chris Jericho is grifting us with an NFT graphic novel that's going to be debuting at San Diego Comic-Con.
What the fuck is that? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like, what the fuck is an NFT graphic novel?
It's exactly what it sounds like. So
I don't know what that sounds like. That sounds like two words that came out of a fedora that the Painmaker was wearing, you know?
It is. All right. So here's the description. I'm gonna skip past the like fellatio opening of the announcement because it's just nonstop like how great Chris Jericho is.
Oh.
Coming in September, the Painmaker will be accessible. The Painmaker is the name of the book. The Painmaker will be accessible via unique NFTs within the story. There will be opportunities to own a limited NFT of each frame, the ability to unlock animations and gain access to gain access to the Painmaker metaverse when it opens at the end of the year. The innovative graphic novel will have each issue distributed. Listen closely to what I'm about to say.
I'm trying to keep track.
Distributed in sections of 2 to 8 pages, being released in parentheses within each issue every 2 weeks.
What?
Now, I explained to you how it's coming out. Can anyone tell me how it's coming out?
It's coming out by making some pain for me because I don't know what the fuck this means. Okay, let me try and guess. It's coming out in 2 to 8 pages every 2 weeks. So that's not 1 week could be 2 pages, the other week could be 6 pages. Like 2 to 8 is not. That's a large swath there, but it's being released by frame, which I assume is panel, because I feel like they would say page.
Right.
So panel by panel, 2 to 8 pages every 2 weeks. How is this readable?
The panels, if we replace the word frame with panel, that's the NFT. So the NFT is the panels that you can get. Or you can own those. And then on top of that, there will also be releasing the graphic novel in 2 to 8 page sections online every 2 weeks, a la I mean, you get it. Like there's been tons of books released.
I don't quite get it, but
it's weird. It's dumb and weird. They haven't even announced a creative team. The creative team is Chris Jericho.
There is no creative team if they're calling it Frames. They have not consulted people who have made comic books before.
Right. And it's coming out through Semcor Studios.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with them.
You are?
No, I'm not. What the fuck
Oh,
are they?
I was about to say, what the hell? This is one of the most annoying comic book announcements I've ever heard. This is what happens when someone who doesn't know jack hole about comics says, you know what? Hey, look, I make movies. I'm a wrestling god. I make books. I do
I'm a fucking wizard. Yeah.
television. I'm a wizard. Whatever. There's money in comics and NFTs. Let's do it. If Ric Flair can, if Tony Schiavone can put out a comic book, if Ric Flair can put out a comic book, Chris Jericho, can put out a comic book, and I'm gonna do an NFT.
Honestly, I bet you Jericho has little to no actual involvement in this. This seems like a management company. Well, it seems like a management company idea. Like, hey, there's money here. Let's just get this. And Jericho is just like, yeah, sure. In the middle of putting on his Painmaker makeup, which this is also the worst Jericho persona as well. Yeah. Like I am. If we're looking at Jericho's whole work as a whole, I am a fan of Chris Jericho. Painmaker was the stupidest fucking thing. That was his New Japan gimmick once he left WWE as like a way of counteracting Okada's Rainmaker gimmick. It's a pun. It's dumb. It's also when he was like not in the best shape of his life either. He was kind of scary looking. This, I guess it's gonna be a Spawn type book. I don't know. I don't fucking know what this is.
And think about the synergy and the planning that went into it. That the same week that this book gets announced is the same week that on AEW television, Chris Jericho says to Eddie Kingston that he'll be facing the Painmaker. Like, yo, come on, man. This is so transparent. And so Jericho's going to be doing 2 panels at SDCC talking about this Painmaker book. And I have a feeling he's writing it. He wrote his own novel, or not novel, but his, several autobiographies. So I bet he's writing it.
Harris says Jericho's been working on this for at least 6 months.
Sure. I bet. One thing I'll say about Chris Jericho is that he does work hard. He does put a lot of effort into the things that he does. Whether they're good or not, of course, is up to you. This feels, though, like a ripoff. Like, I haven't seen a frame. I haven't seen a panel.
Well, they're called frames.
But it just feels grifty.
Yeah, CW Gordon says, I think you mean 2 frames at San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yo, you're on fire. CW Gordon, are you trying to be commenter of the year? Is that what you're going for? Because at the end of the year, we're going to do it. And it feels like you're in the running with these jokes.
Man, Trapsword misses 1 episode.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Man. Friendship with Trapsword ended. Now CW Gordon's my best friend. That kind of meme.
Enough pain. Let's talk about what has been, or what was, a very pleasurable year, or decade rather, of comics. The 2010s. We're gonna take a look in our main topic at the comics that define the 2010s.
Yeah, just obviously, 2 years later.
Yeah. Well, hey, look.
There's a lot though. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the comic book industry is a dinosaur. It's always behind the times. But the 2010s, I think comics changed as much, maybe, as they did in the 2000s. And we're going to talk about some of those changes. We're going to talk about the standout books from the 2010s. And when I say standout, I don't necessarily mean our personal favorites. I mean the books that shaped the industry in those years and the stuff that we'll probably still be talking about in decades to come. Do you guys need a break, or do you want to run?
Quick one, if that's cool.
All right, we'll take a quick break for you guys on Twitch. We'll be back in 5 minutes or less. We in? Yeah. All right. Welcome back. Thanks for waiting. Tyler is stuffing his mouth hole. I
had leftover brookies from Domino's because Had a depressing domino day the other day. You know those days?
No.
No soul to get that. Thanks, Sean.
Listen, man, I can't have dominoes. So
I forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah. Welcome, Shenron. Thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well. It's
Hope
funny
college is good.
Yeah, hope college is going well. It's funny that you joined us while we were on break, but you made it. Thank you to everybody who stuck around. If you're still watching or listening to this, if you haven't yet, please do hit the follow button if you're watching us live on Twitch. It'd be great also if you'd be willing to subscribe, even if it's your Amazon Prime subscription. That is totally free to do, and it actually helps us out. YouTube.com/TheComicsPals if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe for free, like the video, share it with your friends. All that stuff helps us out a ton, and we appreciate it. Let's dive into the main topic. Go ahead, Joe.
Quickly. We don't say this often, but reviews. We've got an active audience now.
Oh yeah,
guys, we need some iTunes reviews.
That's
you
a good
gotta
point.
get us up there. Any place you can review us.
Yeah.
That would help us a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Spread the word. Let's spread the word about great comics
Never heard
from
of
the 22. Oh well, listen. So the 2010s, and of course we're talking about 2010 to 2019, were very, very interesting in comics for a lot of reasons. The big two went through a lot of changes. This is, we're talking about like the New 52 era, into DCU, into Rebirth. On the Marvel end, we're talking about Marvel Now, all new, all different. Marvel, Tyler, what was the one after Siege?
Wasn't the Heroic Age?
The Heroic Age.
Yeah.
Man, fucking useless information in my head. You knew to ask me too. I'm like, couldn't I remember? I don't know how to do taxes instead. Shit.
We saw, the debut and the rise of a lot of the creators who are now the people that, basically command from a creative standpoint the industry, the names that we look to when we're talking about great comics. Seismic shifts in management, the end of, well, this happened in 2020, I guess, but like the end of Dan Didio. Joe Quesada took a big step back. The rise of Akira Yoshida. Lots of things happen.
That's my favorite arc of Miller's Wolverine.
Oh man. So there's a lot to talk about in that vein. Given the amount of time we've been doing the show here, I think we'll probably focus more on just the actual books that released that we want to highlight here, and less on the major milestone moments.
Sean, did you want like a specific number of titles, or we're just gonna be throwing them out there? Okay,
just like
I'm not doing like a ranking, like you're in like top five.
I'll start just to set the tone for what we're doing. So I have a lot for Marvel, as you would imagine. I read more Marvel than anything in the 2010s, but the biggest change for me was that I started to read non-Big Two books. The 2010s is when I started reading Image comics, stuff even outside of Image. I started to diversify as a fan of comics, and I opened myself up to DC with the New 52. I've read Batman before, but that was pretty much it. Batman and Final Crisis, and only because of the relationship to Batman that book promised to have, which was nebulous. But for Marvel, the first book that I want to mention is actually, and this is going to surprise people, that not that I would say this, but that it actually came out when it did. Ultimate Comics Spider-Man Miles Morales.
No, that tracks. Yeah.
Miles Morales is from that decade. That's how new that character is.
Yeah.
He debuted in Ultimate Fallout and then got his own book. And the reason why it belongs on this list, in my opinion, is not just because it's the debut of one of two of Marvel's absolute biggest characters to come out of this decade, but also because I think it's really good. Bendis, Pacelli, they were still doing really good work at this time on this book, and I think they knocked it out of the park. It was, I'm so glad that it was them that introduced the world to Miles. Obviously, they created it, but like, I'm glad that they were the storytellers that did, because Bendis had the clout still, and he was still very, I mean, he's you know, one of the best of all time, but like, this was when he was in his bag.
Yeah.
And he took the time to do Miles, to make Miles. And so, yeah, that's, to me, that's one of the top books.
It also reinvigorated the Ultimate Universe from it, like post Ultimatum. Like the writing was on the wall, like, oh, they're getting rid of this, you know.
Yeah.
This is not this is a little long in the tooth now. They don't really care much for it. And then Miles shows up, and then that keeps the Ultimate Universe running until they figure out a way to bring him into the main universe. But yeah, it was. It kept the Ultimate. I don't know the number designation of the Ultimate Universe, but it kept that on life support, I guess.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Absolutely.
Can I throw one out there?
Yeah,
but it's
please.
not one.
Please.
I would say. I wanted to, as I say this, I wanted to highlight Rick Remender's work at Marvel in this decade. You know, we just did recently a book club on Ultimate Avengers, which great book.
Uncanny Avengers.
Sorry, Ultimate's on the tongue right now. But Uncanny Avengers, you guys have done Uncanny X-Force, I believe.
Yes.
Yep. But I want to throw this one out there, a little sleeper hit for Remender. Rick Remender's Venom. Everyone likes to talk about Donny Cates' Venom, but Rick Remender's Venom is like where Venom became like probably top 10 characters for me, specifically Flash Thompson. Like Flash Thompson that was a reinvention of a character who is super important to Spider-Man lore. It made him a hero. This was his heroic journey. It started with that one shot about his time in the service that was in Spider-Man, spun into Venom, and one of the few runs that I have collected the entirety of.
That was so good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. When he was fighting Jack-O-Lantern.
Jack-O-Lantern, yeah.
Yo.
So good.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think it was Tony Moore on art, if I remember correctly.
Sounds
right. First artist on Walking Dead, the original first arc of Walking Dead, before it moved over to Allard. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, for real. Before we continue, please chat, like share your thoughts too. What books from the 2010s define that era of comics for you? Like, obviously, I think that there's less subjectivity to this conversation than there is like best or favorite. Some things really are just that big. Like, you can hate Watchmen, but you can't say it's not important, right? Yeah. It's an objective truth of comics. So there is some level of subjectivity to this. I personally was trying to mention the books that are the characters that I think that will stand the test of time and define that era from like a this mattered standpoint. But again, it's
but I would also say this started the ball rolling for what Venom has become.
Yeah. No, completely. I wasn't saying that against.
Yeah. No, I get you. But I'm trying to tie it back to what you're getting at. Especially because like Venom in the current Marvel comics, A-tier character. Like in all promotional pictures, it's like Thor, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Venom. Like, he's a hero now. Like this is the status quo for Venom, and guy's pretty big. He's got 2 movies already, maybe a third, maybe something in the MCU down the line. Who knows? But Venom's big again.
Yeah, and I don't know if that happens if it wasn't for
Yeah, I don't think so. Stuff. We had mid-tier Venom books constantly. I think that became like a critical hit, which then made people buy it, because it sold well. That was a Venom series that went on for 50 issues or something like that. Like, solo Venom book, I don't think it does that before that.
Right. Yeah. Kale, did you have a Marvel that you wanted to shout out?
The one that comes to mind specifically, I think, is, and the only reason I even remembered it is because of Tyler's picture here, Superior Spider-Man. It hit at a time when I think, Spider-Man left the Straczynski era and then went into the big Dan
Brand new
Slott
day.
era.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
And
Yep.
sort of, I don't know, it felt like it didn't quite know where it was going for a while. Or, if you listen to Dan Slott talk about it, he knew exactly where he wanted to go, but Marvel didn't want to let him. So with a lot of stuff like Spider Island, he came up with on the fly and had to write it so that he could push back and do the things he wanted to do to build up to Superior. But man, what a way to reinvigorate a character.
Not according to
and-
Sean.
I mean, yeah, like I was furious about it when it happened. But it's one of those things that like when I read it and I saw like they were committed to it, I gave it a try, and you know what? I'll be damned. It's pretty good. But for me, what really made it was Slott laid down a lot of threads that he did genuinely follow through on all the way, to Peter Parker coming back. And it was a real moment that for me, like I felt like I saw it happening, I saw it coming, and I knew what was going to happen, and it did. And he landed the plane, and I mean, for me, it reinvigorated Spider-Man, but it also reinvigorated Otto Octavius.
Yeah, it
Fan
made
fiction.
Seen him in a
Otto.
while, but
Yeah, it also made Otto like the de facto number 2 for like you can't supplant Norman
Yeah.
Osborn as Spider-Man's
Yeah.
main villain. That'll always be Green Goblin Norman Osborn. But like Otto is definitely number 2 now. There's no question about it.
I would extend this and say just Dan Slott on Spider-Man. Like to
Yeah.
me, that run, he really carried the torch for that character for a decade. And that's rare. You don't see things like that anymore. And yeah, Superior turned off a lot of people, but it also excited a lot of people. It was something different for a character that, wasn't in the best place for a while. So hats off to Dan Slott for sure for doing that.
For me, I love that it turned off people. Like I loved the negativity surrounding it. It made it an event for me, even though it wasn't an event comic.
Right.
But like, you can talk to people about it on the street. Like it was a thing.
it genuinely felt like they were, and they were, it genuinely felt like they were really taking a big risk.
And at the time, they didn't have the rights to it in the MCU, so I was like, "Oh, are they going for it? Are they trying to
my
like
God, can you
rebuild it in a
imagine?
way?" Like I was like metagaming it in a way. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, what?" Especially what
He
happened to
said,
X-Men in the 2010s, you know. So
He said in an interview one time that he was at a con and a kid came up to him and said, Spider-Man, little kid came up to him and said, Spider-Man's my favorite character. Is Peter Parker ever going to come back? And he had to look at the kid and go, nah, man, sorry. Like, for me, I was like, that's the commitment, man. Like,
Damn, dude. That's like Rey Mysterio always wearing the mask when he's outside in public.
yeah.
Like that's,
showered with it too.
Yeah. Oof. All right. So let's move on. Another one that I think we have to mention, we talked about her earlier, is Miss Marvel.
Yep.
We did a show a few months ago about like the best comics of all time, and this made the list. I don't agree with that. But if you're talking about defining Marvel in the 2010s, yeah, absolutely. Where we just watched, there's a show right now called Miss Marvel, and she only existed for less than a decade. And G. Willow Wilson and Sana Amanat, who wasn't a creator on the book but was very, very involved in that storytelling.
Both made cameos on Miss Marvel, which was
Right.
nice. Yeah.
They brought an authenticity to that story that it only works because of. Yes, from the perspective of, her Muslim background, what it's like to be, a brown person in America and stuff like that, but also what it's like to be a teenager, what it's like to have fun as a kid. Somehow they were able to channel that, and it's really great. It's really, really great. I think it probably introduced people to comics, young people.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can probably say that about Miles too, but maybe even more for Miss Marvel. Girls into comics, and we
I'd say
need
more.
that.
Yeah,
We need that. So you can't have a list like this without Miss Marvel.
and the other thing I would say is the artist Adrian Alfona on it, who launched Miss Marvel. Yeah, they worked on Runaways, I believe. But like Adrian Alfona is not traditional Marvel Comics art. It's very European based, super cartoony. It is the antithesis of house style, which I think opened Marvel up at the time to like have new kinds of artists on it. Things that were different. And I think it's big. But yeah, I would say like out in this decade, probably Miss Marvel would probably up there with Miles, but I would eke Miss Marvel out.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Although Spider-Verse was a massive success, but
True. And I think of the inverse too. This also forced Miss Marvel to become Captain Marvel finally.
Yep.
And I think that was another big thing. Kelly Sue brought her on the map for Captain Marvel. It made Captain Marvel A-list. As first of all, like the titular Captain Marvel, I don't think was ever fully A-list. It was like capital B-list until Carol got into the role, and it turned her from like B-list Miss Marvel to A-list Captain Marvel, like perpetual Avenger going forward.
It's funny that you say that because you could feel in the like mid to late 2000s that they wanted to make, and I'm going to say Miss Marvel just because of who she was then, Carol Danvers, a main character.
Yeah.
She was a very majorly figured into the new Avengers run and stuff like that. Mighty Avengers, I think it was.
Frank Cho.
Yeah. But it just kind of like tapered off a little bit. And it wasn't until she became Captain Marvel, Kelly Sue got in the mix, Civil War 2, even though that sucked, it felt like, okay, well, she's an A-tier player now.
And then the costume design by Jamie McKelvey too. Like I think that was a new age of big 2 costume design in comics. I think especially, we had what was New 52 was in 2012, I believe.
11.
11.
2011. Yeah. Where a lot of it was like, oh, we're going the wrong direction there, bud. But I think Captain Marvel and McKelvey's design for it, and I would also even say the design for Miss Marvel, really added a modern look to comics that I think we got throughout a lot of the redesigns going forward.
Well, yeah, a lot of it, especially, in reference to New 52 versus that era of Marvel, is like Marvel started looking to people who were looking at fashion.
Yeah.
And they made things work.
That's true.
Kevin Wada
in a
doing
fashion
covers.
way, Kevin Wada, Jen Bartel,
covers,
Chris Anka.
Dude, Chris Anka's Wolverine redesign or his Psylocke redesign. Fantastic stuff. Chris Anka working on that new Spider-Verse movie. I'm excited for that. Oh.
Yep.
I'd also like to talk about Thor, God of Thunder. And when I say that, just Jason Aaron's whole time on Thor.
I have that written down too. Literally just Jason Aaron's Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just saw a movie where the primary 2 plot lines, forget the MCU, right? The primary 2 plot lines came directly from nowhere other than Jason Aaron's run on Thor. There's not much MCU in that movie. Because so much of it is just this comic book stuff. And obviously they MCU'd it, but those stories are directly from the comics. And they even used images from they've recreated images from the book. Asad Rabique's, tremendous work. This is a character defining story that went on for many years, has other artists. Russell Dauterman did interiors, which is a rare treat now, but you got it then. It introduced the mighty Thor, as we talked about, Jane Foster as Thor. It did so much good for a character who, just like we talked about with Spider-Man, Thor was not
Fear itself dropped his cachet down a little bit. Yeah. I think Straczynski's Thor was big, but then it was off the map for a bit.
Yeah. By the way, chatters, I'm gonna we'll get to your comments just a moment. We just want to run through this. Yeah.
But I would also say, like, that's a good point to mention Jason Aaron's Thor, because it is being picked up from the MCU. I think the past decade is where we're going to see a lot of adaptations coming forward. Yeah, I think it's a good place to look. I mean, we are already. Miss Marvel, Secret Invasion's coming out.
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. I mean, Fraction's Hawkeye. Obvious answer. I mean, all of these are Marvel so far. I want to get to, like, non-Marvel stuff. But Fraction's Hawkeye for sure. I guarantee we see Court of Owls stuff too in film. Like, I think it's been alluded to in some places or rumored in some places. I think it's going to be like I think people are pulling from the more modern stuff now, because it's more modern, but also, like, it's easy to sell that stuff too.
I think too, like, this is pre this conversation, but this is where it was sort of perfected. Like, Bendis really defined this long form storytelling in comics, this decompressed storytelling in comics, that, the MCU and the TV shows and things can lift from, and they can, give it time to breathe,
The TV shows are very decompressed. You're right about that.
You don't like a 10-hour movie, Sean?
No. Before we move on from Marvel, there are a few more books that I want to mention. I don't think you can talk about this era without Vision, Tom King, Gabriel Hernandez Walter.
I have just Tom King written down on my list.
Right, yeah. If you haven't read Vision, like, you need to. I think of all the books that at least are on my list, if I had to tell you one book you need to get, it's Vision. It's so good.
Is your favorite Tom King work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's between that and Rorschach, but yeah.
Rorschach's really
good.
Wow. Yeah, they might
not
actually.
my top two.
They might be my top two as well. Yeah.
My top two.
But this was. I think this was a little bit before we realized just how good Tom was. We knew about Omega Men, that was phenomenal. We knew about Sheriff of Babylon, that was phenomenal. But this, to me, is like a step above even those books. And I was already like, wow, this dude is legit.
Yeah, that was his star maker for sure. Yeah.
And also another thing MCU lifted elements from.
For sure.
WandaVision. Elements.
I would say elements.
Also, Immortal Hulk. When you talk about... No?
No, I agree, but there's a lot of scandals in that one that towards the end that kind of soured it. Yeah,
I still think 10 years from now, people might not care or remember about that, but they will remember this run.
It's a fantastic run. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Al Ewing, don't even remember the artist's name who
erased.
Yeah, but Al Ewing took a character in the Hulk that I don't think Marvel knew what to do with. That's how I really feel like that. They introduced totally awesome Hulk. They gave him a son. They did so many things with the Hulk. They shot him into space in the 2000s. And then Al Ewing said, well, Hulk is kind of a horror character, no? And he flipped him on its head. Yeah. And that was it. And Immortal Hulk, fun fact, that I'll remember in 10 years, outsold Batman for a while.
Yep. It is a Cronenberg Hulk story. And it's amazing. It's like if Cronenberg and Michael Bay did a Hulk thing. It's just like body horror and mass destruction.
See, C.W. Gordon has already forgotten the scandals. That's
it was just a bit of tad coded anti-Semitism,
Not from Al Ewing.
No.
From the artist whose name I don't remember.
Just for flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have two more. Gwenpool. I have never read a Gwenpool comic book,
Interesting.
but
It's good.
you cannot talk about the 2010s in Marvel without talking about Gwenpool, because I think that just after Kamala and Miles is Gwenpool in terms of popularity.
Not Spider Gwen.
Oh shit! I meant
Okay,
Spider Gwen.
Okay,
My
I was
bad,
gonna
yeah.
say I'm with you.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Gwenpool.
Gwenpool too, but Spider Gwen,
Yeah.
the bringing
Okay,
back
yeah,
of
yeah,
Gwen
yeah, yeah.
Stacy and making her, sort of a character who can be sort of different things.
Modern.
Yeah. Modernizing her, bringing her into the fold. I think that was a huge move on Marvel's part and a risky bet. And risky is something that I think Marvel was throughout the 2010s, and I think we've lost that. Kale, you're making a face. The reason I say it's risky is because of the audience that doesn't want to see Gwen touched. I count myself among them. Or
I guess my pushback on that would be that, it happened in Spider-Verse and it's an alternate reality character. So it's not really, I don't know. To me, that's not risky
This
as
is
such.
risky from a company that has been known to reduce the same-sex relationships in their Pixar films. So it's the capital lowercase r risky. I would agree with. Yeah.
Well, if we're talking about Marvel comics,
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah, I think Spider-Gwen has to be in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah.
And then the last one that I wanted to shout out is House and Powers. Believe it or not,
It's 2019, right?
That's 2019. Jonathan Hickman. I didn't even mention Secret Wars. I had it at the top of my list and I wanted to save it, but just Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman was the main character of Marvel. Fuck actual characters in Marvel. Jonathan Hickman was the main character. Here are the hits: Secret Wars, New Avengers, and just Avengers, Fantastic Four, and House and Powers / X-Men.
You're forgetting Secret Warrior, Sean. The
Secret
best
Warriors.
one.
Yo, I love The Wheel.
one.
The Wheel. I love that book.
The Secret Warriors is a template of everything that would come in all of Hickman's stuff. Check out Secret Warriors. Stefano Caselli on art. Bendis, I believe, co-wrote some of it too.
Yes,
earlier stuff.
Co-wrote. I think that was a
marketing ploy because Hickman was just the FF guy. And,
he was a nobody. But yeah, so many hits from Hickman. Hickman carried Marvel, I think, and is to me the creator of the 2010s. But I know that we didn't actually ask that question. Shenron, I think it was, shouted out Secret Empire. Talk about risky. Secret Empire was a huge risk to Marvel.
And they immediately backtracked.
I'm proud of Marvel for putting it out.
They backtracked mid-story, I feel.
Oh, earlier than that.
But yeah, that's Marvel in the 2010s. I think Marvel succeeded greatly in the 2010s in modernizing itself, and embracing an audience that was increasingly diverse and interested in seeing new things. And I think Marvel provided that. It wasn't perfect. There were some dry spells, but I think they tried hard, and I give them credit for that.
And frankly, I think they had a lot more hits than misses.
Yeah, I think so.
Agreed. Too. Yeah. Their misses were mostly in the X-Men realm, but
Oh my God, let's not even talk about that. Let's just leave it at House and Powers.
I mean,
forget everything else.
I would say the X-Men in the 2010s did define comics at that point. Define them as, we're only pushing the stuff that we have movie rights to. Here's evidence. But yeah.
And that, if we had more time, I would love to.
Sure. Yeah.
One day we'll do this in a more, official capacity. DC. DC went through a lot in the 2010s. A lot of upheaval. The New 52 was their big initiative to start the decade, holding the line at 299. I'll remember that in 10 years.
I would say that little gimmick, that little advertising thing, fucking genius.
Oh, it worked. It was brilliant. I love it. That's why I make fun of it.
It's a good rhyme. That defined the 2010s for me.
Sean's gonna be on his deathbed. 299.
Yeah, it's gonna be
holding
his
the line.
Hey, by the way, in chat, highlight your messages, please. If you want us to read them, if you want to shout out books, highlight your messages.
It's Sean's Rosebud.
Let's not talk about my rosebud on this podcast. I think I got a hot take. I think DC in the 2010s had a better roster of creators. When you look at the creators that they had for the New 52, who they launched with, who was working, Grant Morrison, Gail Simone, Jim Lee, Scott Snyder, obviously is a little later on, but Tom King, who's the Jeff Johns. How can you forget Jeff Johns?
Tinian early on.
Sean, how can you forget Jeff Johns?
I know, right? Tinian, who's never done a Marvel, I don't think. Like so many heavy hitters at DC at the start of the decade and throughout. And when you're talking about the New 52, there were some big hits. Justice League.
Harris points out Blackest Night.
Ooh,
started in 2009 and ended in 2010. So a bit of a, I'll give it. I'll
allow it.
If you said Brightest Day, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I get you.
Did someone not say Brightest Day? Sylph Stevenson said Superman Rebirth.
I was gonna shout that out actually.
So there you go. Yeah.
Superman Rebirth. Do you mind if I just vamp on Superman Rebirth real quick?
Please.
Superman Rebirth, not New 52 because they butchered Superman in New 52 outside of Morrison's Action Comics. I think Superman Rebirth is what started the beginning of Superman as a dad. There was like some weird side story where like the old Superman kind of came back and they merged eventually. It was a little fucky wucky. But Superman Rebirth by Tomasi and Gleason rekindled my love for Superman as a character. I would say even maybe like started the love for it. Sure, All Star did it, but like I was never a big Superman guy before that. If it wasn't written by Grant Morrison, I wasn't reading Superman. But it changed with Superman Rebirth for me.
I gotta go back and read that. I don't think I read that.
It's good stuff, man.
And by the way, I hope this is a learn.
There you go. Sorry, Sean, my mixer broke, so I didn't hear the last 4 sentences you said. But whatever.
I just said that there are gems I'm sure that I haven't read, so I hope this is a learning experience for me.
Yeah.
Ooh, can you guys hear us now?
They couldn't hear us either. Okay.
Yeah, the whole mixer broke, so it wasn't doing anything, but we're good.
Okay. And then I said to Alan, I'm just joking. Don't worry about it. You don't have to highlight your message. It's fine. So I was speaking quickly about Justice League. I don't actually think that Jeff Johns' Justice League, when it started, was very good. But it's clearly the most important, relevant Justice League story from a media standpoint that they did in the 2010s. It's everywhere. The DNA of that story is all over the place. And happy to say it gets a lot better. Forever Evil is one of my favorite events ever. I love that book. It's so good. No? You don't like Forever Evil?
I think it's fun. I wouldn't call it good though. You know what I mean? Like that's also like my opinion of most of the New 52. It's like, is it fun? Yeah. Is it good? No.
Yep.
It's not.
By and large, I don't think that the New 52 was good, but I do think that some amount of it at least was iconic and like relevant, and that's why I'm talking about Justice League.
Yeah, for me, Forever Evil, the Finch art is a little muddy in places. I do like what it did for Lex and for Captain Cold. Fucking Captain Cold became a Justice League member around that time, which is wild. And it made Black Manta kind of A tier too.
Yeah.
Black Adam as well. There's a lot of seeds planted there. I'll give you that. And the gimmick of covers around that time was
Out of control, dude.
My
Out
wallet,
of control.
man.
Oh my
Yo,
god.
you want to know what comics defined 2010s? DC variant covers.
Oh.
What was it? Justice League of America, the 52 variants, your holographic variants, your
Oh my God.
lenticular 3D variants.
Yep.
I was like calling up my shop as soon as they opened, like, yo, make sure you got Scarecrow, Forever Evil, on hold for me, the Clayface one. Like, I want that shit. That's like physical comics. I was like, oh, even though that's the kind of shit that nearly killed comics in the 90s, but you know, it's fine.
Sylv brings up Batwoman. Batwoman is absolutely on my list.
Yep.
J.H. Williams, Greg Rucka. Come on. This book is one of the most beautiful comics I've ever seen. It's stunning. And Batwoman, Greg Rucka, man, I feel like Greg Rucka needs his flowers, and I need to get him on this podcast because I just want to love on Greg Rucka. I think Greg Rucka is brilliant.
You can't stream that, Sean.
Listen,
only be caressing his earring.
And
Whirling your fingers in his goatee.
hell yeah, dude.
I love Lazarus so much.
Yo, yeah, dude. Black magic. I'm just gonna whisper that in his ear. Wonder Woman.
That's what it's called when you two get on. It's some black magic going
on. It's a phenomenal comic book. I think the legacy of it is a little bit sullied by the fact that DC wouldn't allow Batwoman to get married to a woman. But when you talk about LGBTQ plus standout books, I think DC and Marvel both didn't have the balls to like really let a character just be who they were in that way. And even though in the end they pulled out, and unfortunately we didn't get the full run we were supposed to, for what it was special.
Yeah, especially they wouldn't let A-tier characters do it.
Sure.
Wasn't it around the same time that was it North Star?
Yeah, and his
got married to his partner in X-Men.
Yeah.
So like, you know, not saying that's nothing, but like, you know, what is a C-tier X-Men, like, you know, versus like the Batwoman, you know, like major character, and they wouldn't let him do it.
Well, consider that there was like, maybe my time's a little fucky, but I don't think it is. There was no Batgirl, right? Like, well, at least Barbara wasn't Batgirl.
She wasn't. No, it was Stephanie Brown was Batgirl at the time. Yep.
And you know, I don't want to upset any Stephanie Brown fans. Right?
They're ravenous. They're
real
very
careful.
Yeah, be very careful.
I think Batwoman was much higher profile.
Oh yes, yeah, for sure.
So when it comes to the women of Gotham, Batwoman was holding it down.
Yeah.
She was holding it down when the Batman books were bad.
Yeah.
She was Detective Comics. It wasn't Batwoman. It was Detective Comics, which is, I think, a key thing here. That is the DC book. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Do either? Well, I think it's just seamless to go from Batwoman to Batgirl.
Okay, I'm curious to see where you go with
now. I am partial to Gail Simone's Batgirl, but it's not iconic. It doesn't define the era. What it did do was it put Barbara back in the costume, and I think that book was phenomenal. But what it led to, I do think is iconic, and I do think belongs in this conversation, which is Batgirl of Burnside. Cameron Stewart, Brendan Fletcher, Babstar. Like, come on. For a lot of modern Batgirl fans, that's who Batgirl is. That's how she looks. That's how she acts. That's her supporting cast. That's Batgirl.
And also, like, again, modern costume redesigns. Like, that's up there with Captain Marvel. Babstar's Batgirl is great. It's also, again, I think it picked on the same wave that Marvel was working on with Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel at the time, Maybe it was something in the zeitgeist there, but got some like lesser known indie people that were like indie darlings with Cameron Stewart and Brendan Fletcher. And then getting someone with Babs Tarr who knows fashion and knows how to design well.
Cameron
Lightning
Stewart
bottle
designed.
yes,
costume.
sorry. Babs Tarr did the interiors, right?
Yeah.
Just like that's such a hit, and that's what you hope for, right? Like you hope that you can take a character like Batgirl and go, all right, we're gonna make an icon. And obviously, Batgirl's been around for a long time; she's an icon in her own right. But to reinvigorate her like that was a special moment.
Yep. And then the picture we have of Batgirl in her movie, that's looking a lot like that costume. So
looking Burnsidey.
It's the Doc Martens that do it for me.
Yeah.
Those work.
Flashpoint. Is it good?
Oh boy.
Listen,
I don't think so.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that.
Come on.
Put it in the trash.
Animated film, right?
The rolling your eyes is the appropriate response to not only the animated film, but anything.
But again, we're not talking
about
best here.
Yeah,
we're not talking best. We're talking about defined.
Flashpoint.
Listen, but just because they want it to define it doesn't mean it does.
But
It's
it
a very
does.
forced
It absolutely
definition,
does.
yeah.
It led us into the New 52. It's the basis of an upcoming movie.
Are we sure about that?
Well, we'll see. I think Flashpoint is major. I really do. I think I absolutely think that if I don't know this to be a fact, but I bet Flashpoint is still right now one of the top selling trades for DC.
Oh, I don't doubt that. But I would say without Flashpoint, it'd be. I think the world would be a better place without Flashpoint. We'd be
Absolutely.
We'd have a lot less assaults around the world.
All right.
And less babies with guns.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Kel, you want to shout one out?
A DC one. I actually hate DC in this decade for
Okay.
the most
Yeah.
part.
It's the antithesis of what you like in DC Comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 1000% hated the New 52. Even I've cooled on it, on the hate, but man, when it happened, I was fucking done. That shift helped stop me reading comics for a while.
Well then.
The stuff that was going on at DC just it felt half-assed and it felt non-committal. Because they would in terms of like Batman, they were talking about this great big reset, but Batman had Dick as Nightwing at like 25 or whatever, but Damian had still been his sidekick for 5 years or some shit.
Yeah.
And then they reset Green Lantern, but only sort of. I just absolutely
Very
ridiculous.
cherry picking.
Yeah.
It was messy, to be sure, and it was confusing and frustrating. But people who read that stuff now, they don't know about it. They don't know that.
I would say,
the
best part of New 52, I think, is it reinvigorated the mystic side of the DC universe. It made that mainstream. I think books like Demon Knights, Swamp Thing, both Snyder's and Soule's runs, Justice League Dark, I, Vampire, Frankenstein, Agents of Shade, like there is stuff there. Animal Man by Jeff Lemire, fucking one of my favorite books. It did stuff there that was that we are seeing now. With the Swamp Thing TV show that got canceled, but we're seeing it in maybe Justice League Dark if that ever comes out.
That's not coming out.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, no, that was what it did for me at least.
Batman, Snyder and Capullo.
Yeah, it's on this image I put on here.
Yeah, like that. Court of Owls. You almost don't even need to say anything else.
Could you say that it reinvigorated Batman? Because I wouldn't say that.
I don't say reinvigorated. Batman was strong. I'm just saying it's iconic. I think that from a non-comics fan standpoint, if you're walking into a comic book store and you're going to get a Batman book, it's probably going to be from Scott Snyder at this point. I think it's probably going to be him. It's probably going to be Court of Owls. And Court of Owls is going to be a movie at some point. They teased it a little bit in Batgirl, which we already know, even though it's not out yet. And the masks, you always, whenever you go to Comic-Con, you always see that mask. It made Scott Snyder probably a very rich man, but also one of the most recognizable creators in comics. Greg Capullo was already a superstar, but holy shit, what did it do for his career? Their Batman, I think, is the crown jewel of DC in this era.
That's all there was.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
I would also say that it was good to a point where it made everything else look bad. Like it was almost like too good for a lot of lines.
Absolutely. I think that's 100% true.
Yeah, because like I'm reading Superman at the same time, which was like who was it? It's like in one of the old heads at
Superman, not action.
Superman, yeah.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell you because Gmo was on action.
Yeah, that I remember.
Was it Tomasi?
No.
Flash. The new 52 Flash cemented the Flash for me. That's
fair.
Bucatello and Manipal. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
Oh man. To me, Manipal's that good Flash. Ooh.
Where is he? Oh, he's doing
his own stuff.
one
He's doing
of Snyder's Scott-Tober things, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Clear. He did. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agreed, Kale. That's a great call out. I don't have anything to say about this one, but I think it's worth mentioning. Injustice. I think, with a super successful video game, a rare video game comic tie-in that actually I can't say is as successful because, it's just not. It's not. That'll never happen. But I think it had the equivalent success that the game had, like the equivalent in comics. Injustice comics are huge. I think that helped to launch Tom Taylor's career, and people love them.
Sorry, I looked up who did Superman when it first launched New 52, and I feel bad now. It was written by George Perez. It was George Perez, Jesus Marino, and Nicola Scott on it.
Oh, Nicola Scott! Wow.
Yeah.
And the last one I have to shout out. You guys are gonna hate me. Doomsday Clock.
I don't hate you.
Oh.
No, I think it's good. It gave us that good Watchmen renaissance there in the middle there, which gave me probably one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So
I'm pretty sure Doomsday Clock didn't give you the Watchmen.
No, I'm saying like no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there was an IP revival that Doomsday Clock was a part of at the time.
Oh yeah. It's the first official crossover between DC and Watchmen.
Hopefully last.
I hope so too. I think it's really great. It ends weird, but I think overall it's super strong. It has a phenomenal creative team: Gary Frank and Brad Anderson and Jeff Johns, the racist. Sorry, whoops.
Maybe that's why you can't remember.
Allegedly.
I'm struggling to remember Jeff John's name today, guys. I don't know what it is.
starting to slip out because of all the racism.
But yeah, I feel like I do think people will still be reading Doomsday Clock years down the line.
Have you guys read it since coming out in single issues?
I'm dying to.
Nope.
Because those delays, I think, soured me on the book a bit. Like I feel like as a whole, that book's probably really fucking good.
Yeah, the delays were rough for sure.
CW says it's a great reread. Yep.
I'm inclined to agree. Did we miss anything from DC?
Just for the past conversation, Flashpoint is number 34 in trades on Amazon.
That's fucking good.
What's number one?
For DC, I mean, number one is Batman Fortnite.
Yep. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's pop some 90 pots and go down to Tilted Towers and take a nice pump shotgun after you chug some chug jugs. Am I saying these things correctly?
DC, I think. I think
there's one more I have for DC though.
Okay, go ahead.
Azzarello and Cliff Chang's Wonder Woman might be one of my. It's the best Wonder Woman run I've ever read.
That's New 52.
Yeah, it is, and it made Wonder Woman readable for me.
Earth One
I
stuff.
think, yeah, I think I think when you lean into the mythological side of Wonder Woman, that's what I like, and that's all that book was.
Yeah.
And also it's Cliff Chang. Yeah, I have Cliff Chang's Wonder Woman is the only absolute edition I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm partial to the Rucka, Nicholas Scott, Liam Sharp Wonder Woman, but I don't think that one.
I've never read it, so
people
I
don't like it as much.
Point to it.
You
You don't like the Jodie Picoult Wonder Woman?
I can't speak to that.
That was post Infinite Crisis, is that right?
Yeah, she wrote The Notebook, right? She's a novelist.
Yeah. No, it's not The Notebook, but she was a romance novelist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think DC kind of struggled in the 2010s from from a creative I guess from a creative standpoint. I think there was a lot of editorial over management. We did a whole show a couple years ago about like the expose on the New 52, how crazy it was to work at DC during that time, and why some of the books weren't good and could have been good but got ruined. I think that now DC seems to kind of be finding themselves a little bit. They've got something going with the Black Label, diversifying their line and putting out things for more kinds of people. But I think it's taken us a long time to get there, and I'm still not satisfied with what they're putting out. I would say I'm less satisfied with DC right now than I was 10 years ago.
And in the last decade, we had the highs of Young Animal coming out, which I thought was like a real fun little section, and the lows of Vertigo being dissolved. So
let's do indie. So for indie, we're just talking everything that's not Big Two.
My favorite one is Temple of Doom.
Oh God.
Oh,
you tried.
Sorry, independent books. Sorry. Kel's still trying to figure it out.
I think
you could do better than that. That was.
I think the 10s were, you could forget the Big Two. I think the 10s were the decade of the indie comic. I think the Image revival created a storm and a wave that so many other companies were able to ride and rise in. Boom Studios, they're more so a now thing, like the 2020s thing, but they came up. We've seen so many. What's the one? The one that put out Fearscape, Vault,
Scout,
Vault, yes,
Vault,
okay. Vault,
yeah,
Scout
Vault.
2,
Black
AWA,
Mask.
Black Mask. I don't think any of them, not a single solitary one, exists if not for Image's revival. They set the table, and they set the table with Saga.
And also with Saga, like that was, they put like marketing behind it. There was buzz, there was like Big Two feeling buzz around that book when it first came out. Even though I think the first lines in the book are, it feels like I'm shitting. Like, like it was also like.
Could have fucking sold it with that.
Yeah, I know. No, I agree. Saga was like the book. But I don't know if Saga exists without Walking Dead. Like Walking Dead's fame kind of started then, even though the book didn't start then in that decade. But the fame really started gaining traction. But like I think because of that, it allowed books like Saga to be marketed. Like, from the same publisher that made The Walking Dead, that sort of thing.
I certainly wouldn't disagree with that. I think that's definitely true. I think it's hard to talk about Image without talking about Walking Dead, the TV show. And then of course, people always say that outside media doesn't translate into sales for comics. I think maybe so for the Big Two, not true at all for indie comics. The Walking Dead, gangbuster numbers. The Boys, gangbuster numbers. Like all those books end up doing crazy numbers. Saga, I think, though, is special in the sense that I think Saga brought in so many new fans, and Saga doesn't have an outside of comics thing. It's just a comic book. And I say that with all due respect to comic books. That's what I love so much about it. When it's over, they do like a movie, they do whatever, sure. But like Invincible, I love the idea that it's run and it's the success of it is pure comics. I love that.
And I would say it's also written in a way that's pure comics. Like it's the king or queen of the cliffhanger page, you know?
Yeah.
Like in an age where comics were just made as a serial medium, you know, it's just like, all right, we'll just wait for the next one. Like, but you can read it in a trade and it works fine in a trade. Like Saga is written for the single issue. I still feel, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is something just, especially back then, didn't happen at all. It's like, oh, we're going to release this in a collection.
That was the era of the trade weight. We were like, oof. Yup, definitely. Can't say enough good things about Saga. It took 50,000 years to come back from hiatus, but, you know.
And it also launched here's an independent sci-fi book for the next half decade, I would say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. We talked about Invincible. You know, it didn't start in the 2010s. It started much earlier than that, but it ended in that decade. And look, it was still a juggernaut for Image. It was still doing really well. I honestly was shocked at how many people loved it. I didn't know. It wasn't until I met Pete actually that I realized, because he couldn't stop talking about it.
He wouldn't stop talking about it.
I think he's doing it right now. I hear him somewhere.
Imagine.
Yeah, I hear him all the way in Philly. He's not loud.
This is where I need help, though. This is where I need help, because in terms of iconic, I couldn't think of too many more. I had Something Is Killing Its Children, which
That's
think
tail
started.
end. That's tail end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, but that's all I had for era defining books.
I think, man, Image itself really, I think the work they did on books sold indie books in a more iconic way than most of the books themselves.
Yeah,
if that sentence made sense at all.
I get it. Yeah.
Because I can think of 4 or 5 Image books off the top of my head that to me are iconic, but it's not more iconic in the broader picture than this Image boom itself.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think it's hard to nail a comic down. I would say there are waves, and then there are harbingers of those waves. I would say Saga and maybe like Black Science would be the wave of like the sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
I would look at stuff like Fatale being the wave of like, crime books are coming back. Brubaker's Fatale, and maybe the Fade Out, another one.
You're not going to talk about Kill or Be Killed? You're going to do that?
No, because I think it's well into the wave of it coming out. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that's a harbinger of it. I would say it might be the best one of them, but
fair enough.
I do have one actually, but from Boom, Power Rangers. I think
I have one from
that's
Boom
legit
as well. Yep.
I think the launch of Power Rangers as a comic, a modern Power Rangers comic, and then leading up to Battle of the Grid, For the Grid, or the fuck that book's called, reinvigorated the Power Rangers in a huge way and launched 1,000 copycats.
Hey, Radiant Black, right?
That's I mean, even actual fucking Ultraman at Marvel right now, like.
Yeah, that might not happen.
That's absolutely huge.
For me, it's Lumberjanes. Lumberjanes Lumberjanes and Nimona, I think at the time really was like, hey, serialized comics for YA audiences are viable. We don't need to just do, stuff like collected stuff that goes in the kids section of Barnes & Noble. Like we can do issue by issue stuff that comes out. lean in on the digital end a bit. I would say those two are big deals, honestly.
Sex criminals, Harris points out. I think that
You talking about the book or Reed Richards? Zing! Got him
Sex
again.
criminal says the Night Stalker.
He's heroic.
Yeah, so were the sex criminals.
They were. Oh no, they just
they
robbed
were.
banks. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the 2010s for indie comics are defined by
Indie comics.
indie comics just being good, being accessible, being notable, people talking about them. You know, it feels like finally there were places for creators that, you know, not just the top tier names, but like people to make their bones and put out amazing work while they work up the ranks. We talked about a book from Vault Comics, you know, Fearscape. That's a fire book. It's really good by Vault Comics. You might not have even heard of it, you know? And I think that if you look at any of the publishers that came in that era, you're going to find a gem. And again, like there's a lot that I'm not familiar with. So please share them because I would love to find those books.
I would say it also changed the dynamic too. It shifted it. I think previously it was, oh, you write independent books, then you can do big two. And then it became, no. Creator owned is where you want to go. It's like, then you kind of start off in the big two, really.
Yeah.
And then you get to do like your big image book that you've been holding on to actually gain the rights to. So I think the whole dynamic was, it almost was like an Axis event for comic book dynamic. Talk about lowlights of the
please.
That's
That's a whole other episode. And you know what? I hope that the best is yet to come. I do.
For the 2010s.
Well, for, you know, comics. I think the 2010s were really exciting. I hope that the 2020s are as well. I would like to see the big two be exciting again. I feel like right now they're not exciting, and that's the biggest problem that they have. I don't know how to solve that. I think some of the things that happened in the 2010s, like the alienation of top tier creators at both companies, lower page rates, more tightening of constriction as far as what creators could do, is what led to the Image revival in a lot of ways. Because Vaughn, Brubaker, Remender, Fraction, they were all alienated. They didn't want to do it anymore. And they left. And they made buco bucks doing their own books. So hopefully Marvel and DC can lure some of those people back in. But if not, fuck it. Let the industry be great. Let comics be great. And here's to hopefully a tremendous decade that we're 2 years into. Thanks. Let us know your thoughts about the 2010s. Did we miss anything? I'm sure we missed things. Please put in the comments what books we missed, because I genuinely want to go back and do some reading into that stuff. You know, there's too many comics to keep up with all that stuff. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. 300 is the next episode. This is a 3-hour episode. 300
This could be next. 2 episodes. I could easily split this into 2 episodes, honestly.
I don't know. We'll see. Let us know if you want to send us anything. Again, thecomicspals@gmail.com. You can send us a voice message. You can send us an audio message. If you don't know how, write in and ask us how you can do that. You can do a voice memo, like Kale said earlier, and just send it in an email. Whatever you want to do, please do. We would love to read, listen, or watch your comments next week. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You heard it here first, folks. Sean loves to watch, so.
I do. Patreon.com/thecomicspals. Support the show for as little as $3 a month. You'll get our newsletter access. If you want to be awesome, you could do even more, and we'll shout you out. You do $10, we'll shout you out on the show, give you a superhero nickname and an origin story that will last forever, just like the comics that define the 2010s. If you want to watch this show live, twitch.tv/thecomicspals every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern for Pals Pulls. Yeah, we should drink. We will drink. I will be drinking
honestly,
during the 300.
if Marvel wants to start streaming their Hall H panel for New York for San Diego Comic-Con, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
why not? YouTube.com/thecomicspals. Subscribe for free, like the video, share it with your friends. All that's free to do. Helps out a lot more than it costs you. Join our Discord server. We're always looking to add more cool, like-minded people to that server. Almost every commenter that we read comments from today is in our Discord. So
Yeah, y'all are popping off today.
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys were amazing today. Really appreciate it. Thank you for sticking by with a longer episode. We normally don't do these anymore, but this was a meaty one. So let's get into the plugs so we can cut out. Kale.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Comics Pals. You can find me and my work at kaleward.com. That's CALEWARD.com. And Catherine is always amazing. She said it. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TotoInTow. That's TOTOINTOW. Man, I'm just always thinking about Pokemon. Just always.
Oh, have you seen the leaks?
No.
Oh, they're out there.
Yeah, they freaking are. I'm
It's
avoiding
very
them
early.
like the
Very
plague.
early.
Game comes out in November.
It's still early, I feel, for leaks. Leaks usually are
I
like
don't think so.
a month in advance, but yeah.
Playing Pokemon White for the first time, and I had a bad opinion about it, but I think I'm changing my mind. I'm actually having a really good time.
Kale, you want to say on record why you didn't choose Pokemon Black?
I couldn't. You're not gonna believe I couldn't find Black on Facebook.
Somehow I believe that.
Okay.
Maybe
Tyler,
I'll get Black too.
Oh,
I thought you said maybe I'll get blacked. I was like, wait a second. Hold on a moment.
So, nobody Photoshop Cal on that couch. That's for sure. Don't do that.
Oh my god.
Is the Piper Perry meme? Is that what that is?
Yes,
Not that I would
with DC characters.
Yeah, it's all Wildcats. It's the JSA behind them. I'm doing that later. That's for sure. Yeah, you could. I'm up, right?
Yeah.
You could follow me at the Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter. What am I doing this week? Talk to me about. I've been playing a game called Naraka Blade Point. It is a Chinese game. You can tell because there's way too many menus. But it is essentially a sword fighting battle royale. It's on Game Pass if you have Xbox Game Pass. But also it's free to play as well.
Oh.
It is it's fun. It's got like some good counter mechanics in it. There's different heroes who have different like special moves. There's about like a dozen different weapons. It's kind of fun. It's good. I'm a big fan of battle royale games. I'm doing a lot of them Fortnite things, trying to reclaim my youth. It's called Naraka Blade Point. Naraka. Naraka.
Put it in the chat, please.
Yeah. I'll do that. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Yep.
I'm on Twitter and Instagram only at Sean Soapbox. You know what, man? I'm just looking forward to 300. That's all I got.
Oh, when you watching it?
Got. Never. Look.
Look at him. He's reading the manga.
I'm holding in my hand Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man, Hive, rise up. Boom, 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 boom.
That's our next book club. I had to buy it. We'll
recording Tuesday, right? I know that's undercover stuff.
Recording Tuesday, yeah.
Come on, that cover don't do nothing for you, Sean.
Fuck, I gotta.
Not a
read it.
single thing.
Wow. Typical East Master over here. Or no, the West Master. He's the West Master.
I am the West Master. You say it right.
I will say, I did have if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I did have a Twitter interaction with Natasha Lyonne, so I'm still running on the high of that.
Who is that?
She is the lead actress in Russian Doll. She was in Orange is the New Black.
I was gonna say that Thursday show.
It was yeah. She was in American Pie. I'm a big Natasha Lyonne fan, and
She was?
responded. Yeah, she was she was like the burnout girl on American Pie.
I feel like that's her bag, like just a burnout.
Yeah, we were talking about Muppets, so I was like, oh, my New York crush responded to me, noticed me, senpai. That's what people say, right? So that's
well,
that's been getting
Damn,
me
you're
through the
single
week.
now.
Is Natasha Lyonne
Damn,
single?
just put that on Front Street.
I already put it on Front Street earlier, Sean.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's only one way to find out.
All right, listen, this
true,
is
true. She likes the
over
Muppets
3
too.
hours.
So
We got to go. Show her your Muppet another time. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you for episode 300. Until then, we're the Comic Spell signing off. Take care, guys.
See you next week.